All right, hello and welcome to week 2 of the RPL Prestige League here. Looking forward to this game here. Casting with me is Toe Knuckles.
Hey, how's it going, Richter?
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you. Not too bad at all. So coming into the lobby here, I need to just turn up my volume a little bit. If you could take it away, Toe Knuckles, that'd be excellent.
All right, so we're getting through picks and bands here already, jumping in by the time we actually did our intro. A couple bands worth mentioning is the Vagar from Council of Yolks. That's a big pick for Magnet Cross. It's one of his comfort champions, and he is a strong player for Team Phoenix Fire. And then we're, of course, getting Never off of the Twitch. I don't like playing against that champion either, so I can't blame them. If anyone shows potential to play that champion, I want to take them off of it as well. An ADC with assassination potential is just not something fun to deal with. And in our first pick for Council of Yorks, we see the Sejuani, just a all-around safe jungler right now, top tier, S tier jungler that can fit in any team comp, whether that's a pick comp, team fight comp, whatever that is. Just a very versatile pick, a solid first pick, blind pick, and then to match that on Team Phoenix Fire side, we got the Gnar and the Taric. Taric, one of the most underrated supports in my opinion right now, because he is one of the few melee tank type supports, along with Rakan being another melee, although Rakan I wouldn't classify as a tank, that can actually build Ardent Sensor and get away with it. So very valuable having that support in your lineup. Plus his ultimate can do a lot in a team fight.
Yeah,
So
exactly, Toe Knuckles. I agree with you on that one. I'd say that. Wait, my volume is my volume's actually fine. So Dan is on fire, picking up the Orianna here. Got the Malzahar band against him as well. That's probably going to get matched up by the Corki as we're coming into the second phase of bans here, with the Janna coming up as well. Xayah picked up against the Gnar in the top lane, so open availability for Luna Rabbit, who will be playing top lane. P1 Charmander now will be supporting the Neva as he used to be a top laner. Caitlyn going to get banned away the Xayah.
I think they're trying to just set up to give Xayah a decent laning phase to where she can not have to play catch up, and she can really be that damage dealing source. Because it looks like with the Orianna, they're probably gonna go with that front to back team style where they put all the emphasis of their damage on just their mid laner and ADC. And then if you pick a utility based mid laner like Orianna, even more of that emphasis is placed on Xayah, who is a perfect pick for that. She is a late game AD carry that does have really good scaling. So, but it looks like Team Phoenix Fire is going to match that scaling with it. Jinx, who's just as potent in the late game, although she doesn't have that ult to kind of dodge and have an oops button like Xayah does. So she's a little more susceptible to suffering from bad positioning. But these are the top two teams in the league for a reason, so we probably won't see a whole lot of positioning errors, and it will be a really well contested match back and forth.
I feel
And
we might maybe come up with the maybe a Lulu pickup or the Sonra as well. Certainly an Ardent Sensor time for this, as you do have that engage from the Sejuani, and it can be backed up with the Shen and set up a really nice shockwave as well. Zac being countered for Xyx in the jungle there for Phoenix Fire. We'll see if Council of Yoriks can really excel against this fairly tanky lineup, I'd say, on both teams here. Very back to front team fight style here. Zac potentially access to the backline and can push Orianna into the enemy team. So we'll see how the fights develop, but certainly have to be well calculated. Positioning for carries will be very important.
absolutely, when you only have a both teams are for the most part running a 2 damage source lineup. Although Gnar, if he gets into a hybrid like split push build and then maybe add a gargoyle stone plate on top of his cleaver frozen mallet, he can be a a sneaky source of damage as well. And so I think the Team Phoenix Fire has a slight advantage in that aspect, although Shin can also build the Titanic Hydra and do the same thing. And so I think both lineups mirror each other pretty equally. However, I have to give a slight edge, just the slightest of edge, to Council of Yorks, just because I think the specific champions that they have are easier to um, pull off that team fight style with that front to back, because with the Zac, he wants to go in and then maybe pull someone back. He could potentially land himself in a bad spot or bring someone back that he doesn't want to, and there's just a lot more room for error on the top. I'm sorry, there's a lot more potential for errors to be made on the side of Team Phoenix Fire. Not to mention the Oriana Shockwave to kind of group everyone up, for Xayah to get a nice massive root collar and a Sona Shockwave. They just have a lot of wombo combo on top of a really good front to back team fight. And so I have to give the edge for game one, just based off team comps, to Council of Yorix here.
Alright, I also feel that they can be quite punishing in the bot lane with the Xayah and Sona quite aggressive early, can potentially deny Jinx a little bit of farm, as Taric, although he can provide lane presence, obviously is that melee champ, does have that range stun, so can potentially lock down the Sona, but with the sustain on both champions, I feel that the edge of the wave clear could potentially go to the Xayah, especially since they do try and rush that Essence Reaver in lane.
Absolutely. Whereas Jinx tends to ignore, I won't say always ignores it. I have seen people prove me wrong when I thought that was the case, but it is very, very situational for a Jinx to pick up an Essence Reaver, instead rushing straight for the IE. Gets a bigger 2-item damage spike than the Xayah. And so that really could swing things depending upon the race to BF Sword Zeal, or if they go straight for their BF Sword item completion. It'll be really interesting to see how that bot lane plays out.
Yeah,
the other
exactly.
thing I want to draw. I'm sorry, go ahead. I interrupted
That's
you.
alright. And yeah, I'd say for Team Phoenix Fire, their comp is slightly more difficult to execute, and if neither can avoid the elastic slingshot coming out from his Xanyx here, the engage potential of the Gnar, obviously fairly telegraphed ultimate of that Gnar ability, and he can potentially dodge that, so it can provide a lot of throughput damage in the fights, whereas Jinx will have a slightly harder time, and that Cosmic Radiance will be very important.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to point out about the team comps going into lane, speaking specifically about lane phase in the mid-game section of the game, I would really like to see the Corki, instead of heading bot lane with his first package, I'd like to see, I hope he makes a roam to the top lane, because the Gnar is going to be forcing the Shin to build armor. Corki now does mostly magic damage since the changes that they brought on earlier this season. And so it would be not only effective in a sense that it would be attacking a tank that wants to build one type of resistance with a secondary type of resistance, and it kind of attacks the source of their power play by going towards the person that wants to ult down to the bottom lane. Instead of playing into that, you're playing counter intuitive to that and going and attacking that source, because the bot lane can't get to him. And so hopefully we see that type of roam out of Corki, and he plays it really intelligently. But it's also a situational thing, and you have to make the best use of your package in the moment that it comes up, whether that's Dragon or a roam to a side lane. So it'll be really interesting to see how packages are used for Team Phoenix Fire.
Yeah, I'd certainly agree with you on that one. Oriana, difficult to roam against, obviously, because the wave clear with that ball and presence in the lane can be fairly difficult to challenge, especially when you come back with that Lost Chapter. You start stacking up that mana ability, and you can really start pumping out that wave clear. So definitely opportunities to prevent the roam. Also, with these two tanky junglers, we are now loading into the game, guys. So this will be week 3 of the RPL, Council of Yorick versus Team Phoenix Fire.
I actually don't think as a Corki it's incredibly difficult to push into an Orianna. Whenever you get the package, you kind of just come to lane and just worry about hard pushing the lane out and then roaming after that. I mean, it's really telegraphed in a sense that you know what the Corki's trying to do when he grabs package, but that's obviously telegraphed by the giant alarm sound it makes anyway, that he's going to try and look to make a play with that package. But the thing about an Ori is, while she does have good wave clear, she doesn't necessarily have amazing tower taking prowess like a Ziggs or something like that, or even a Malzahar who can use his Voidlings for help. And so it's not as punishing for a Corki to roam on an Ori as it would be some other high wave clear champions like the Ziggs or Malzahar.
Yeah, I'm interested to see in the second game whether or not they try and reduce Dan's on fire champion pool in the mid lane. Maybe force him on something he's a little bit less comfortable on, as I have played with him previously, and he does seem to get banned on the Malzahar and ends up falling back and ended up playing a lot of the games that I played with him on that Orianna, so he certainly is comfortable with that.
I mean, Orianna's one of those champions where you kind of underestimate it in the hands of a player that can play it really well until they punish you for underestimating them for it, because of the fact that it's a really utility-based champion. So sometimes you can
Luna Rabbit looking for a little bit of an invade here. Just going to take a little bit of harassment there by Frosty Axe. But interesting start from the Zac, not going to use that bottom leash. It's going to free them up to potentially rush that level 2, look for that engage. And he's going to be starting red buff over on the top side. So different pathing for the junglers here. What do you make of that turn? You're up.
I think it's really smart for the Zac, because I think Zac is actually a lot stronger on the red side, because if you get a lane like the Sona and the Xayah who are going to want to push early, you can really punish with that, because his elastic slingshot does reach over that corner in the wall, and so you can get some surprising ganks off that your bot lane may not be warding for, or the opposing bot lane may not be warding for, because they just underestimate his range on that ability. So I think it's really smart pathing by RPL. He was also really smart to avoid the Raptor camp and pass that ward up in order to keep his location disclosed on the map and keep it a secret. So good work by RPL in the early stages of this game.
Yeah, Lazy Gentleman and Asian Brom getting a nice push on that level 2, managing to actually fake out the jungle a little bit, arriving to that lane, still managing to get that level 2, not able to get anything off that advantage though.
The thing is with that Sona in lane, even if they were to get some sort of an advantage early, that with the power of coin, Sona's just going to kind of undo any advantage they had, and so they don't want to go too aggressive trying to get a huge...
Junglers are meeting up here. Elastic Slingshot is going to come out, not actually going to knock up Danners on fire, but does force the flash here, actually going to get the slow and knock into the minions, forcing more damage coming out from Magnet Cross, but he will escape. Summoner Bun in the mid lane.
A summoner and a huge chunk of Dana's on fire's health pool, so he really set up Magnet Cross to take this early lane and have a big impact as far as scaling into his first package. He's going to be able to have a lot of control over that lane and kind of dictate what goes on in it. We also see in the top lane that Frosty Axe is dictating his lane as well. So Team Phoenix Fire, while their team comp may be a little bit more difficult to execute, action going on the bot lane, MTR Asian Brom barely staying alive. But the point I was trying to make is, it looks like even though Team Phoenix Fire do have a more difficult team fight to execute, as we were alluding to in Champ Select, they do have a more dominant laning team overall, and so they should get themselves out to possibly an early lead that will help cushion the difficulty margin that their team has in executing their team fight.
Yeah, I'd certainly agree with that. And Lazy Gentleman just having to farm on the tower as this wave advantage that Solar and Diva managed to create, certainly getting the tower hit very low there. Certainly aggressive plays all around to really try to get that. Dan is playing very advanced in this lane for his flashbang throw as well. Zach not looking to go there yet, is on a ward currently. So Exciting's kind of wasting time here. Asian Bomb also not able to go in. Massive stun comes out. Actually forces the flash out of Neva now as Charmander wants to run, but the health bars are so low on the size of Phoenix Fire. Neva now trying to tank up the damage and actually go aggressive into the minions now. Actually going to get slowed up by Lazy Gentleman. Now he's running for his life, but a little bit of a trade there. Flash ban on the AD carry and support.
It's the second time in the last minute and a half that we've seen Asian Braum get out with less than 100 health. Really pushing his champion to the limits, trying to bait in Never and Charmander, but just not quite connecting on that. But that is the Zach gank I was talking about right there specifically.
And Magnet Cross actually looking to make a little bit of a trade. Does burn the heal there as he also lands a Phosphorus Bomb. Trying to just zone him off the CS. He hasn't quite got a lead actually as the wave's bouncing back to Dazzle fast, so he should be able to pick this up and even it up. But now the teleport coming down from Luna Rabbit and someone Shadow managing to pick up the kill as the roam down from bot lane manages to secure on Lazy Gentleman. That'll be first blood over 2 as a flash comes forward from Luna Rabbit. He's now diving the tower. He's taken down that for the solo kill actually onto Asian Bomb. Massive amount of farm now being denied against Phoenix Fire here as well.
So we just see these two teams. They're not playing League of Legends right now. They're Rookter. They're playing poker. Both of them showing their poker face, trying to bait each other in. And Council of Yorick comes out on top thanks to the Shin teleport, really giving them the advantage, turning it from a 3-on-3 bait fest into a 4-on-3 victory for Council of Yorick. So.
Yeah, Council Yorick's managing to pick up this Ocean Drake on the backside of that fight as well, and the Shen doesn't even miss too much on the top side of the map as he's able to recall, buy that Bramble Vest and teleport back to lane as well.
I don't know how much I like the Bramble Vest as the first item. I like it early. I still think I would have gone probably the Balmy Cinder into the Bramble Vest. I know we're mixing 2 armor items there, but you're probably going to get it anyway.
Maybe the Tiamat if you wanted the wave clear rather than the Cinder, as Shen can buy that Titanic Hydra in the later stages of the game.
Either way, I still think you need at least the help to really make the armor even more effective. But again, I'm not a top lane main. Lunar is, so he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's comfortable building in which order. So, and that's really what's most important, is making sure that he knows the strengths of his champion at certain times. I think he's probably just trying to make it hard for that Gnar to harass him. But I think the armor would have been more effective, personally, with a little bit of health behind it. So
yeah, considering the impact that Luna Rabbit had on the bottom lane, he's actually fairly even on farm against a Gnar who is considered a lane bully. I know Shen has a lot of high base damage in the early stages of the game, but keeping toe-to-toe against Frosty Axe here.
And I think that really speaks credence to not only his comfort on that champion, but the coordination that Council of Yorick showed in that first play. Is they didn't call for the Shin teleport right away. Even when we saw the Sejuani go in, they waited until the Jinx stepped too far forward, put Xayah in danger, and that's when they called for it. And so it kind of helps maximize Shin's time in lane, even though it's only a few seconds. That could be the difference between him being down, 75-67 right now to 75 to 60 or whatever, getting those extra few CS. The way it sets the lane up and whatnot. So every few seconds in League of Legends matters. So really good job again to that first play by Council of Yorick's.
Yeah, Neva with this pressure bottom match, he has a little bit of a CS lead over Lazy Gentleman here as well, so he's doing well for himself. taunting into minions here. Lunar Rabbit's actually going to take a lot of damage. He's trying to bait it now as Frosty Axe is going to have to run away from someone's shadow. Has got the ult available. Will he actually use it as Xanix now comes in, knocks him up? This means someone's shadow is really in a sticky wicket here. Flash forward from Xanix as well. Forces the taunt away from Lunar Rabbit. Lunar Rabbit taking so much damage and harassed. Red buff is now on Frosty Axe. He's now chasing him down.
Really beneficial right there for Frosty Axe to not only get that kill, but also get the red buff. It's going to make his harass even more punishing on the Shin. Also going to help him regen health to counteract the effects of that Bramble Vest.
Xanix is here as well in the top lane, meaning Shen is actually going to run away from it. He's actually warded it out, so he does know about this. He is playing cautious behind it as the minions do now fall, but Frosty Axe has his ultimate available and flash if he wanted to actually go in on it.
But in that last play there, I think Lunar Rabbit just gave away too much of his health bar, trying to set up the gank for someone's shadow. Lost too much of his health bar, couldn't contribute on the gank itself out of fear of getting turned on and trading 1-for-1. And then at that same time, IZeniX just did a good job being in the place where he needed to be on the map, counter ganking at that moment and turning that around.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you over telegraph a fight a little bit too much. You'll take too much of an advantage trade. Dazzle's Patchy comes out to Geneva. Now he gets rooted as well. Ladies and gentlemen, putting a lot of damage down. Agent Brom has taken the brunt of it. Geneva is very low as well.
Right, the correct play probably would have been for someone's shadow to back off right there after too much of Lunar's health bar was lost. Small mistakes like that can hurt you, but I don't think they're going to be game.
Actually, Sejuani is now behind Xanix, so I don't think he knows about it. He's actually looking to elastic slingshot forward now onto Neva. Gonna actually get stunned up as well, but Agent Brom gets actually deleted. As really nice, Neva's now out of position, but comes out with the ultimate from Sona. Means Xanius now has to run, and the Magna Cross has jumped into the bottom now. TP getting channeled here for Frosty Axe. He's trying to get onto Neva. He's actually jumps forward. Now he's in a 4v1. Actually, Mega Nars forward and gets 2. Forward into there. Summon Shadow now has to run away. Double kill over to the Jinx now. Lazy Gentleman on a rampage, tearing it up with that pickaxe. Gonna net in the double kills. A really nice play from Frosty Axe just to continue that flight in the direction. Dan is on fire, looking maybe for the ult, but no one's gonna be wary to that.
Yeah, and with just components of a Morellonomicon, those health bars are way too full for an Oriana Shockwave to really make a difference with just a Shen down there to follow up. So I think by the time Magnet Cross came in and made his presence known in that fight, I think Dana's on fire should have just kept pushing the wave, causing him to miss more CS and whatnot. The roam was a little bit late to be any sort of impact, but really good play by Team Phoenix Fire there. Good job by Frosty Axe to transition his lead that he got in top lane and help his team out, turn around that jungle pressure.
Yeah, someone's shadow actually starts up the Drake here as well, but there is contestation by Xanius and Agent Brom. They need a bit of support from their carries in the mid and ADC role here, as they are going to be able to potentially muscle this down unless they look for the engage here. Xanix is looking for it. He actually gets a triple knock up there. That is fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, putting a lot of damage in the backside means that Neva will fall. Double shockwave there as well, but now Danspire taking damage in the pit. He will go down as well. Team Phoenix Fire showing their colours as well, meaning that they're able to collapse. Really nice play from that, and Xanix just propelling them forward.
If I'm being completely honest, watching that series of events, I don't know. I mean, good job on Team Phoenix Fire to capitalize on an opportunity that was presented to them, but it's not necessarily that they set that up or anything. I think it was just really greedy by Council of Yorick's to go ahead and start up the dragon right there, not fully commit to the dragon, not turn and fully commit to the fight. They just caught themselves in no man's land with the pants down, and Team Phoenix Fire swooped right in and knocked them over for doing so. So Council York's gonna have to clean up those type of decisions right there if they want to win this game. So
yeah, I feel that the Magnet Cross as well has a lot of gold to base on now, as he only has a Phage finish, has finished those Soul Creeps, though we do have a Frozen Mallet up in the top lane, so Frosty Axe is in a really nice place there, and again for the AD carries we have an IE versus that Essence Reaver on Neva. Morello Nomicon also finished in the mid lane for Dan is on fire.
I mean, there's always the cool. I think where those two items really start evening out is when you get your second item, because there's always an argument to be made of, well, on someone like a caster like Isaiah, where you're throwing out your Qs and root calling in order to get a lot of damage instead of just your auto attacks, having more CDR, being able to do that more often, and we do see a pause come out right now. So.
Yeah, we do indeed. We do have Rift Herald being taken here by Phoenix Fire as Shen is just pushed under tower with that power spike of the Frozen Mallet. An interesting game so far, I would say, Toe Knuckles. Lots of aggression, especially into this bot lane, really utilising the Shen ultimate of Stand United by Luna Rabbit as well. Not quite working out for them on the second episode there, as you said, staying around for that dragon.
Yeah, and I think it's really smart by both teams to try to play around this bot lane, knowing that it is an ADC meta. Both their team comps are built for a somewhat front-to-back style, although with the Gnar and a Zac, they can kind of come at you from more than just a front-to-back angle. They can come at you from the side or something as well. But it is really important to keep both of these AD carries alive in the specific compositions that were drafted for this game. And so a lot of emphasis being put around the bot lane, trying to get those AD carries ahead. And while right now Team Phoenix Fire is ahead with the 3-1-3 Jinx, never has kept himself close in farm. He is keeping himself competitive and viable. The gold margin isn't that much of a separation between the AD carries yet, as we can see that they both completed their first core item at about the same time. I do think it is going to be important for someone Shadow to maybe start picking a little bit smarter engages. We do see 1 and 3 right now.
Yeah, Dazzle coming out actually by Agent Bomb here. Crescendo coming down as well. Cosmic Radiance is now channeled as Lady Gentleman's having to run away. He re-collapses, but Luna Rabbit in the bot lane, the Stand United has been channeled. Now he's onto Lady Gentleman, but the tower will come into contestation here as Agent Bomb has to run away. Junglers also coming down for Xanius and Magnet Cross. They are looking to make a counterplay, potentially Luna Rabbit trying to get up to the top lane as someone Shadow is trying to just cover that lane. Frosty Axe trying to get a lot of damage down onto this tower. It's now down to half health. Re-engagement from him in the bot lane. Now Magnet Cross doing a lot of damage onto Neva, meaning that Kashi comes out with a super mega death rocket onto Lady Gentleman here. Neva will fall. This means now they're racing for that tower in the mid lane against Dan is on fire. Dan is on fire has that down to a 3rd HP. But with the bottom lane, Luna Rabbit actually going to taunt up Agent Brom as he will go down to that last tower shot. This is slowing down. It means Agent Dan is on fire might get this mid lane tower. Going back to bot lane as well. Lazy Gentleman just trying to get a little bit of damage, but Luna Rabbit having to stay here does mean that that tower will fall. Taunt now onto Xanius. He forces the flash away. Actually, match flash here for Luna Rabbit. Pops the flashes out. Charmander on the back lane has to flash away from Lazy Gentleman. Luna Rabbit actually gonna not be able to commit to the kill on Xanius as Lazy Gentleman gets a kill onto this. Sona will not be able to complete it onto Luna Rabbit though. Mid lane tower will fall in the process, and in the top lane Rift Hell got channeled and taken away. Now they're fighting in the top lane as well. Magnet Cross is gonna fall. Traded for the other mid lane. Frosty Axe now gonna be trying to kite around. He's gonna get Mega Gnar. He has his ultimate as well. Doesn't even need it. Luna Rabbit actually TPing in. Now the damage comes down onto that one, and Frosty Axe is mowing down Luna Rabbit, as I don't think Luna Rabbit has a health ball here to deal with this. Actually going to miss his ability. Frosty Axe can't quite commit to this as well. Actually going to get taunted away from Luna Rabbit, and what a how he flashes forward, gets a slow on that 3rd auto attack proc as well. Now one more should get the kill. Yes, it will. Frosty Axe going to net that as a 4-0-3 Gnar in the top lane.
I'm just going to say, what a series of events. Both these teams who are normally...
Neva's caught out here. Dazzle as well comes out with a Feather Storm. Sorry about this. Toe Knuckles going to flash away. Super Mega Death Rocket actually going to miss that, and I think you can finally talk to us about what has happened in those last 2 minutes.
I tell you what, both these teams normally very polished in their gameplay and their decision making, but that was pretty top-notch Clown Fiesta right there. We go from bot lane to top to the Bear and Pit area.
Oh, summon Shadow. Cosmic Radius on, actually stun up onto Neva. Now Neva's very low. Actually, one more auto attack. Canyon Minis was he's down as well. Magnet Cross is also coming to the fray. Now Charmander very low. Agent Brom might fall, but the tower won't quite pick him up as well. Coming down on that, Daz on fire does pick up a kill with a shockwave. Now he actually flashes into Agent Brom. Can't quite get that last auto of that clockwork wind up and will fall to the Jinx. Jinx getting very far ahead now at 7-1. This is looking good for the bot lane of Phoenix Fire.
So yeah, the craziness continues. We see Never almost get caught out. We see his team try to respond and support him. It just leads to a counterplay by Team Phoenix Fire, another response, and they're just always, it seems like, at least for this game, Team Phoenix Fire is one step ahead of Council Yorick's in the plays, and it's just leading to small advantages that keep piling up and snowballing, which is the appropriate term here. And it's really starting to get out of hand for Council Yorick's, and I think they just need to take a step back, evaluate where they are in the game, because they're definitely not out of it. The kill score looks massive, but the gold lead at 4K at 20 minutes is still something that you can come back from. They just need to kind of take their finger off the fast forward button and maybe just go with some play or slow motion for a minute, get their feet underneath them, and make some sound plays instead of some of these rushed plays.
Yeah, just looking at the power spikes here as well, we do have that Triforce finish for the Corki, so he's in a good position there. Lazy Gentleman as well now finishes second crit item of that Runan's Hurricane, just matched to a Brawler's Gloves over onto Neva, so Neva now struggling to contest with the 7-1 Jinx as well. Also, Orianna kind of needs to scale up a little bit in this game, maybe get a little bit of penetration in there as well when that Void Staff comes out. Daz on track will certainly be able to collapse onto the partially immobile Jinx and Magnet Cross if his Valkyrie is not available to him. So maybe a little bit of stalling for Council of Yorick's and they can get back into this game.
I mean, at this point, you don't even really have to respect the Orianna's damage. She's going hourglass second item, preferring the safety, but the damage isn't really going to be...
Exactly, it's actually going to knock out Charmander. Is absolutely toast there. Ladies and gentlemen, picking up his 8th kill. Actually, really nice shockwave coming out, but doesn't quite finish off Magnet Cross. As you said, damage is low on that one. Cosmic Radius as well continues the dive there. Asian Brom tanking up the tower. He does not have a lot of tanks actually at this. He has gone for that Ardent Sensor. Push back into that. Zanix now getting the kill onto the Sejuani. Trying to pull together Daz on fire. Will now go fall down. Neva now trying to collapse with the damage there, but again, more advantages over to Phoenix Fire.
So yeah, the Orianna is going to take a while to come online. I normally like to get a second item, Haunting Guys or Luden's Echo on her, just because the penetration is really important. As you were speaking to early, her base damages are pretty decent, but by going with a low penetration build or the Luden's Echo to kind of give that extra pop from the Echo burst, she's just really lacking in damage, and you don't really have to respect it very much.
Yeah, actually Meganar over the wall. Frosty Axe, an amazing engage by him. Neva trying to ultimate away with a Feather Storm as well. Can't quite get the damage there as Lazy Gentleman as well will pick up his 9th kill of the game. Daz on fire in the process, actually taking down Agent Brom, but a support trade for that tower and extra 2 kills there means the gold lead has now extended to 5k at this 22-minute mark.
That was incredible, Rookter. A 4-man Gnar when there were only 4 people there. So perfect 4 for 4 out of the possible participants.
There's no need to cast that. He's down. Sejuani, sometimes Shadow, has gone completely off the map there. Again, a really nice collapse there by Zanix.
Are you saying how do you play-by-play a pop? Pop goes the weasel.
Yeah,
Anyway,
go on.
so anyway, we see that the Team Phoenix Fire knows they have a lead. They're really playing aggressive now, playing strong. I see that the adaptive helm on the Zac, I'm not quite sure I understand the purpose for that at this moment. I don't think any of the magic damage threats are nearly as impactful as the Xayah, even though she's 1, 4, and 2. Just because of the build path that the Orianna took. Dana's on fire, isn't doing as much damage as he should be, and definitely not. I just don't get the adaptive helm, if I'm being completely honest. Do you have any insight onto that, Rookter?
Not overly. I mean, Sejuani and Sona as well do a little bit of magic. Agent Borm actually going to get picked out here, but the Dazzle does come through, picks up onto someone's shadow. Now he has to run away. 3-man ultimate actually got Dan's on fire. Doesn't matter as Frosty Axe now with the resurgence actually flashes forwards, will pick up Dan is on fire, pushing forward now, and they're moving forward, and he will fall. Lunar Rabbit will go down. Double kill again over to Lazy Gentleman. Sorry, sort of lost a train of thought on that one, but an aggressive play again made there. QSS not even required on Lazy Gentleman, as they are now looking to take on this inhibitor tower in the top lane. Neva actually going to force to use the sword, but will get blown up by Magnet Cross there, securing that last kill for the ace at 24 minutes.
Okay, because I just want to point out that the only real source of damage that the adaptive helm is stopping is Orianna and Sona auto attacks. Like, that's the only thing that it's reducing, because everything else, except for a Jinx Q, her command move is the only thing on a shorter than 4-second cooldown. So he's not. It's just really inefficient. I'm okay. I'm hung up on an item.
Hey, those clockwork wind-ups count, man. For sure.
I just think a Spirit Visage would have been much better, especially considering his passive. But you know.
He'll buy and base. I mean, he's certainly just being an engaged bot for his team now, and it is working out for them. The Gnar is absolutely massive with that Gargoyle Stone Plate, as well as the Baron call has been made. This is a bit of a desperation Baron here.
And we see the desperation Baron come out.
Xanix can look to steal it. He is looking to come in. Will he pick it up? No, he won't. Xanix now going to be taking a lot of damage in the front line. Actually, double kill over to Yorix. This was a good move for them. They're now going aggressive onto as the talk comes down to Lazy Gentleman. He has to flash away from Sean. Now Frosty Axe is absolutely trying to 3v1 here. Can't quite get into Dan's on fire. Does actually force us on his hourglass, but now he's running away. Can't quite pick up the kill. Also burning the Stand United. Maybe on the wrong champion there. Maybe he was trying to get away from Lazy Gentleman as the fight was split up on that one.
Major props to Council Yorick for that risky, gutsy call. It does pay off for them, as not only do they get the Baron to kind of stall out the game and give themselves a second wind, but they also pick up 4-for-1 trade and kills off the back of it. So great shot calling there to capitalize on an opportunity that they were presented with. And another pause here for us to go back to the adaptive helm, right?
Well, he's stacking more magic resist now as he has picked up that Negatron cloak. So maybe a little bit of armor required. I mean, them Mega Gnar or just Frosty Axe in general is absolutely massive in these fights. We do now have QSS converted for the third item as well. Doesn't quite have that triple crit or that penetration. I think that's maybe an interesting item to complete that as well. You might want to mention that.
Maybe the theory for Zac is he's going to build a whole bunch of MR, and they're just going to try and focus the Xayah, and that's the reason why he's kind of ignoring armor at the moment. A little arrogant, if I were to say so myself, considering Xayah does have an escape and a reset for herself. But we do see the Void Staff coming out from Orianna, finally gets the penetration.
Yeah, that's the big moment. We do have an unpause here.
And I think this is really going to be a critical moment for Dan is on fire, who to this point, with his abilities, has played fairly well. He's hit pretty good shockwaves. And he's, I mean, for all intents and purposes, considering how behind Council of Yorick was, he's managed to not die a crazy amount for a immobile mage. And so it's really going to be interesting to see if, now that he has that big ticket item, if he's going to be able to maybe help his team swing this back around and provide that wombo combo that we talked about in Champ Select.
Yeah, with the Baron as well, just being able to stall out is still on a few of the members. That is really nice for them. Split push certainly online here for Frosty Axe, as he is still pushing forward, stacking a lot of armor now as well. Not a lot of magic resist, so you're right, the two tanks sort of like have a different frame of mind about who they're trying to kite around here. Frosty Axe actually going to look to go Mega, does burn that down. But this gives the option 4 mid versus the 2 of the bot lane. The tanks aren't present here, means that the dive is potentially on. Neither gonna have to use to burn the ultimate. Cosmic Radiance also coming out now. Dan's on fire, has used the ultimate as well, pushing forward. Now they have to retreat. Frosty Axe in the front line, but he is in his smaller form. They are getting chased down as well. Dan's on fire. Neither putting out the damage, also has red buff burning on him. Frosty Axe gonna be the first to fall here as he's still left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, can't quite push the damage down. Flash coming forward for Charmander as he'll pick up the kill on the other support. Super minions in the base though, they are threatening this first Nexus tower. They will have to recall Orianna on cleanup duty for that.
Right there we see
the talk comes through, sorry, as QSS will not help him out, a double kill coming over for them, and now they're pushing forward again.
But we see Zach finally getting punished for that greedy no armor build. Dives the turret, isn't able to pull the Xayah back out, gets Sona ulted, so he's tanking tower, which is doing physical damage anyway, and it just goes from bad to worse right there because he doesn't get the Xayah. She avoids it with her oh crap button ultimate that she has, and Council of Yorick is able to just turn it around and really blow this game wide open now.
Yeah, Sadiq's looking to actually stop the back of Neva. Will try and go in, but now he's in a 2v1 for just a moment. Actually flashes forward, gonna get the Shen back to the other side of the wall. That was a really nice play. Now he's in the 3v1. Luna Rabbit may fall here as Frosty Axe trying to just pelt in those auto attacks as well. Will go down here. Now it's 4v5 on the map for a while.
When the accidental Shin grab works out in your favor, you know your team's pretty far ahead in the gold margins. Although, I say that, and it's just one of those things where they just had enough people to burn him down without him getting away. Part of that's got to be attributed to Frosty Axe having a huge lead and a Frozen Mallet to pump out a lot of damage, consistent damage on the Shin.
Yeah, definitely. They can't quite... They need to dive this potentially if they're going to make use of this 4v5. Maybe with the Cosmic Radiance. Someone Shadow just looking to defend, looking to stop the defense as well. Dan's on fire, definitely on cleanup duty for the minions here. Requiring that wake in. Neva can help there as well. Xayah's quite good at that. Managing to stall out this now. Shen is back. Stand United available, so it is back to the 5v5.
And Council of Yorick has closed the gold lead down to just barely more than 1k, when at one point in this game it was almost 5k, and they've bounced back in this game really well. Unfortunately, they lost their Shin, lost a little bit of pressure there, but Team Phoenix Fire wasn't able to grab anything off of it, so they stalled out really nicely there under the mid turret. Thankfully, or thanks to the super minions and the excellent wave clear of an Orianna. They now have their inhibitor back on the side of Council of Yorick, and so they are actually the team in the advantageous position.
Haunting guys as well now finished, so penetration coming through for Dan's on fire.
He must have been listening to the cast while he's playing there, Rookner.
Maybe. I mean, Haunting guys certainly less impactful now. Kind of need the completing item in this later stage of the game, as the raw penetration in the early stages is better. Another dragon falling, 4 in a row now. We do have double ocean, a cloud, and infernal.
Yeah, the burn damage is really helpful against super tanks like Zach, like Tarek, and Nar. Like when the other team's tanks are ahead, getting that burn damage of the Leander's Torment is very helpful.
Yeah, FrostyX actually now in the 3v1 going to get rooted up against Neva. He's actually up in the air. That was a fantastic freeze frame, as Neva will pick up the kill. Actually, he's done really well for himself after this turnaround. Really consolidated this. Now fairly even in items against the Jinx as well.
They Sejuani made him look like a basketball trophy right there, and we got to see some greedy play by Nar get punished, which is not the time in the game for that to be happening.
Yeah, if you split push like that, you definitely need the map pressure on the rest of the place to be able to actually trade for that for something. But he goes down, and it will be unanswered. Now they're looking for the Cosmic Radiance going in. Xanius, can he pull off the Baron Steel? 2,000 left on the Baron here. 1,000 actually going to get smited away. Xanius will pick that up. Ladies and gentlemen, putting a lot of damage on the backside of the map as well. Magnet Cross also has to run. Heal comes out from him as well. Taunt, massive shockwave coming as her kills will fall. Neva's actually still alive in the back. Teleport coming down for that one, as Xanius is going to live. Ladies and gentlemen, can't push into Dan's fire as his damage is real now.
Absolutely, Dan is on fire with that shockwave that really turned a fight that was looking really bad for Council of Yorick. Turned it around, made it go pretty even. Although we talk about greedy play by Nar to be split pushing that much whenever his team is creating pressure in another lane. But that is also an equally greedy play by Council of Yorick to challenge the Baron with a Zach and Tarek available on the other team. Just because Zach has such an easy way into the pit, and Tarek can keep him alive a lot longer than he should be, even if you were to focus him. So, good job by Team Phoenix Fire to stall that out, steal away that Baron. But both teams trying to make greedy plays, playing a gambling game instead of a League of Legends game right now. League of Legends is just the face of the gambling game they're playing. And we gotta see which team has all the cards.
Yeah, we have now Abyssal Mask finished on the Zac. It is a bit of a strange build. Another lag spike potentially coming down. We are aware of previous issues for Council of Yorick. They are having a little bit of lag and might actually have to drop, and they might have to use a substitute for the second game here, as they are rather struggling to hold their connection in this game.
Yeah, they did mention before the game one of their players was having difficulty at a good internet connection, but was having trouble maintaining a connection to Riot servers, therefore having a trouble staying connected to League of Legends specifically. And we do see someone Shadow ask for a ready check, courtesy ready check, and it's actually Team Phoenix Fire that is not ready in return. So we get one team pauses, another team maybe takes a potty break or something like that. This is a pretty intense game, and so it's good to empty the bladders as we head into the home stretch.
Yeah, I mean, 35 minutes in, we are really into the late game. I think the interesting thing to note is that we got another armor item coming out for FrostyX here. So he's building no MR whatsoever. Dan is on fire, is starting to hurt as well. Sejuani has that base magic damage as well as Sona. So maybe a little bit of a selfish build, just trying to capitalize all on the Neva. Maybe he just plans to literally go for Neva every single fight. But you do need a little bit of MR just to survive. Only got that stone plate just to survive in the raw stats department. But again, with this double MR item of Xanius, he is slowly now building that armor, as I would have thought that would probably be a Thormail, probably.
I'm thinking maybe a GA. Just so he's like, well, you know, I don't have any EMR, but I have a lot of health, so try to kill me twice now. There, Dan is on fire, and that might be what he's going at with that. Otherwise, it probably would be a Thornmail. Those are the two most likely items.
I mentioned I was referring to the Woman's Mail on the Zac there, but you're right about the GA.
I was speaking to the Nars armor.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned both. That's the way we're doing good stuff here. As you said, 4 dragons down. Elder will be coming up fairly shortly. That'll be the next contested point. Inhibitor in the top lane has now spawned as well. Baron completely worn off for Council of Europe. So we're all square here. 4k gold lead for Phoenix Fire.
I mean, a 4k gold lead with 60k gold on the map is hardly a number to scoff at. Like, or I'm sorry, I said that phrase incorrectly. It's hardly a number to worry about the 4k gold lead when it's a 60k bracket that we're in for the gold margins. I think the 4 dragons are probably more impactful at this point in the game than the 4k gold lead, and that's what's probably going to cause the Council of York's team to have to fight uphill. That being said, we did say that we believe that they had an easier team fight to execute, and so that kind of offsets the dragons by at least a small margin.
Yeah, Excitinix has done very well finding these picks. They're also trying to just pull out vision away from the bottom quadrant here, but they are actually faced on a ward. They will now recall a little bit back to the safety of another bush. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, going to face check, potentially going to get stunned up, means that Excitinix has to go on the front line. Now he's caught out, Nara's not there, and on the back line, Magna Cross going to take a lot of damage, going to get pushed in. Someone Shadow was going to be the first to fall here. Now they're pushing forward. Luna Rabbit also going to go down to the Jinx. Daz on fire on the front line, gets exhausted by Asian Bomb. Asian Bomb's chasing. Frosty Axe going to be available here as Neva gets a really nice pullback on his E. Lazy Gentleman is well going to come through there, forcing the GA to be popped on. Lazy Gentleman actually going to get a double kill. What is this fight? Frosty Axe survives as well. They've got minions in the mid lane. They're going to be pushing potentially for the win here as it's 26 seconds on Someone Shadow.
I think they're just going to try and crack double inhibs. Frosty Axe probably going for that solo inhib down there while Lazy Gentleman gets the inhib turret and inhib, so then probably back out and reset the map in their favor.
Yeah, getting 2 inhibs down will be very fundamental for the Elder Drake that is spawning. It is actually now pinged out. This is really nice timing for them, getting those 2 inhibs down. 10 seconds to go. Might mean that they have to stay on the map, but full build on the Jinx anyway. Might need to sell that GA if you really wanted to, because that's now useless, but certainly making that GA worth it, getting that double kill at the end.
Yeah, and look at Frosty Axe. He was down to a sliver of health, and then thanks to Going Mega plus the Ocean Drake, he's now almost full health again. So those dragons are paying off for him in the late game. I do have to point out to another itemization.
Dad is on fire, forced to clear top lane, means that they are going to start onto the Elder. Sorry to rub you away, but Someone Shadow definitely going to have to contest with this, as you do not want to fight it with the Fordrix. Actually going to get pulled out now. They are posturing around for this, but Someone Shadow, as is actually going to go in 1500 health. He actually gets it! Now they're pushing for it. Commerce Radiance coming down. Lazy Gentleman trying to move forward. Gets the backline of the tanks with the NAR support. And going forward, getting her around there. Luna Rabbit going to fall as well. This is all because Down to Fire wasn't there for the fight. No shockwave available. So they managed to get the objective, but not win the fight.
Yeah, I think you just gotta let your Sejuani kind of suicide mission on that. She did get the dragon, but unfortunately it cost 4 out of 5 members their lives, and it's gonna lead to a Game 1 victory for Team Phoenix Fire.
Yeah, Phoenix Fire gonna bring out the BW there. Congratulations to them. We will be coming into Game 2 very shortly for you guys. We're just going to reset the map here. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back with you in approximately 5 to 10 minutes.
really should go, he's waiting for me. We both know it's not what it seems. We both know what's between the sheets. I know that it's a secret and that I gotta keep it, but I want the lights on, yeah, I want the lights on. And I don't wanna run away anymore. Leave the lights on, leave the lights on. I know that it's a secret and that I gotta keep it, but I want the lights on, yeah, I want the lights on, yeah, I want the lights on, lights on, lights on, lights on, lights on, lights on, lights on. What would they say? What would they do? Would it be trouble if they knew? I'm trying hard to make you see. All that you are is all that I need. Should go, he's waiting for me. We both know it's not what it seems. We both know what's between the sheets. I know that it's a secret and that I gotta keep it, but I want the lights on, yeah, I want the lights on. And I don't wanna run away anymore. Leave the lights on, leave the lights on, leave the lights on. What would they say? What would they do? Would it be trouble if they knew?
can't hear us if we talk right now, right?
But I want the lights on, yeah, I want the lights on.
Hello and welcome back to Game 2 of Council of Yorick versus Team Phoenix Fire. Team Phoenix Fire won Game 1. They are now starting on the blue side with me. For my color caster will be Toe Knuckles.
Yeah, how's it going, Richter? That was a really good first game. Very close at one point. When we were about 30 minutes in the game, there was only a 1K gold margin. So these really are the top two teams in the league right now, showing off their skills, and I'm excited for Game 2.
Yeah, we do have a sub coming out for Council of Yorick. That is their top laner, Your Dream Wifu, so they will lose the last two bans because they were a little bit tardy giving us this to add to their roster for the time. A little bit of an emergency situation. They were having lag issues last game. We do have the first bans coming out again. Twitch, Lee Sin and Malzahar against Daz on Fire, but Daz on Fire is now playing support, so maybe Lulu would have been a better ban against him. We do also have a Zac, a Tarek and a Vega coming out as the bans against Phoenix Fire. Let's see what's first picked. It will be the Kane.
Oh, man. I love Kane. I love watching Kane. He's a really exciting jungler. He offers a lot of versatility because of the fact that you can kind of see how the game's going. If you're snowballing pretty hard, you can go to that Shadow Assassin. If they do offer a lot of tanks, you can do that percent health damage by going to the Darkened form. So he brings a lot of versatility. Maybe not the best CC, and he's more of a follow-up engage. So Team Phoenix Fire is probably going to have to draft the primary engage, but I always love it getting to watch a Kane in action.
Yeah, matched up with the Maokai, either top or mid lane, top or jungle, sorry. Your Dream Wifu, I don't know a lot about this free agent who we have got subbing in for us today. It'll be interesting to see what their playstyle is, but Maokai certainly can outscale the Kane in the later stages of the game, potentially with that tankiness, providing that more front-to-back teamfight potential.
I think we're probably gonna see the Maokai go to the top lane. I think it's stronger in the lane phase than in the jungle right now, just because it does do better with more items. The more tanky he gets, the more serviceable he is to the team, and the income's just not quite there in the jungle unless he snowballs. So we're probably going to see that, which unfortunately it's going to be matched by a Gnar who is quite annoying for a Maokai to deal with.
Yes, definitely. And we do have the ADC picked up here again. Zaya for Neva and Caitlyn coming out for Lazy Gentleman. So a bit of a change from that Jinx, but Neva certainly sticking to his guns for this game, feeling that they didn't quite capitalize on that. That is the Lulu coming out for Daz on Fire. This is his go-to support, I'd say. So good stuff for him to be on this. He can feel quite comfortable and certainly provide a lot of kiting potential for the Zaya with this front line of the Maokai. So strong composition being brought up for this sort of team fight mechanics coming out of Council of Yorick here.
I think right now, you probably, if you're on the side of Team Phoenix Fire, knowing you got two bans that they don't get to ban anything against, and they haven't really shown their jungler yet, I think I would probably aim bans towards the jungle and maybe possibly force that Maokai to go into the jungle.
Wait, what is happening here? Why are they banning our card?
They may anticipate the Lulu going mid lane to do a heavy protected comp.
Unlikely. I mean, if you look at Daz on Fire's match history, it certainly will be the Lulu for him, I reckon. So they're not quite with it. They aren't quite aware maybe that they have changed. We are now in LCS order, so Dan is on Fire is required to play that more supportive role. We aren't really enforcing the meta to that extent, though. Obviously, he can play that in a different format, but certainly looking for him to pick up that Sightstone, provide that, and get that on sensor for his team. Last ban coming out now, as we do have those 2 skip bans for your Dreamwufu in the top lane, will be the Sejuani, again banning that tank out. So maybe if the Maokai's in the jungle, that is kind of wasted bans on the last side of the back of that. We'll see if anything's picked up in the top lane, or Maokai will be played in the jungle.
I mean, the great thing about picking a Maokai first is, even though you probably ideally want it in the top lane, once you see that Gnar come out, you can kind of flex that to the jungle and pick yourself a better matchup against the Gnar. That's one of the nice things about Maokai and Cho'Gath right now, is you can still flex both of those picks even several patches later. So
flexing the Vladimir as well, because that could either be played top and mid, so all could change here with this last pick Damsel Fire's about to pick up. I mean, I'd say maybe the jungler, but I mean, you could easily send Maokai jungle, Vladimir top lane, and this could be the mid lane pick out. Corki going to be locked in again for Magnet Cross. He did very nicely in these early roams.
I mean, if they're not going to ban a champion that you just did pretty well on in the game, you know, don't change it up. Just take it. And by banning out the Taric, they leave Braum open for MTR Asian Braum. So I think Team Phoenix Fire is very happy with this draft. Not quite as tanky without the Zac, but we will see what they can do with the Caitlyn, maybe providing a little bit extra pressure in the laning phase. Although they did take away a little bit of her power in the most recent patch, but being able to headshot towers is definitely helpful, and her long range can abuse the Xayah better than the Jinx could. So
I'd give this game over to Council of Eurix. I'm really hoping for a game 3. I hope the viewers are as well. I really like their comp that they've drafted here, and the actual draft itself, providing all this flex for the team. Vladimir will now be that mid laner. I'd kind of put my money on to going to a game 3 here. Council of Eurix, I'm hoping that they will draw it to a game 3.
Absolutely. I like both these teams here. Chatting with some of the players in the pregame lobby, all friendly players. So I'm not necessarily rooting for one team over the other. I'm just rooting for good League of Legends tonight as I co-cast with you. And yeah, I do think having a sub this late in the equation is kind of going to be something that Council of Eurix extra Council of Eurix does have to overcome. But I do think that they have a really solid comp with a lot of AoE damage. They can just run at Team Phoenix Fire and kind of just wail on them and fight on them. That being said, Asian Braum is really good against, not Asian Braum specifically, but Braum in general with Unbreakable is really good against Graves and Xayah. So we'll see how this game plays out. So
yeah, definitely. But that fog that Graves can provide can shut down the Caitlyn if you can actually get in range to use it against her. And the Corki, 2 ones that if they reposition will probably be disengaging from the fight. And Vladimir also scales very nicely into the game with the tank stats, so they're kind of relying on this Vladimir to actually probably go and bolster the Maokai in that front line, really looking to dive into the Corki and Caitlyn to break them down.
The unfortunate thing for Vladimir, though, is laning against a Corki for 800 gold. He can just buy an Executioner's Calling and really take away a lot of Vladimir's power in lane. So we'll have to see if Blackout can overcome that, if he has a strong grasp of this champion and can kind of still find a way to snowball.
That is a trade-off. That is a trade-off, obviously. You could either buy a Hex Drinker, which would be a little bit more efficient for the build path that Corki wants to go, or you're also delaying that Triforce build that you want to pick up as soon as possible. So investing that gold actually into trying to get lane dominance it is an investment, and you do want to get something out of that, right? You are either looking to deny CS or to potentially get a couple of kills and then roam and make plays around the map with it. If he rocks up to bot lane with that Executioner's Calling, it might mean he'll have less presence to do so.
And you know, you do sacrifice a little bit of power, but it is a fairly cheap investment to cut healing from the entire top half of the map from Council of Yorick's, because Maokai's got a lot of healing in his kit. Graves is probably going to get a Death Dance early on in his kit, and then you got Vladimir, who uh, just naturally sustains, and that's how he wins a lot of his lanes. So it's an 800 gold investment to cut the healing of 3 champions, and that's before Zaya even gets to her 4th or 5th item, where she'll build possibly a Bloodthirster or something of the sort. So I think it's a really efficient item in this game specifically.
Yes, definitely. We'll see how that goes. Whether or not he does actually pick up that item. We are now loading into the rift. We'll be with you in just a second. So I like these comps, as you said. Who would you give the edge over to? Maybe a little bit of level 1 play as well, if you want to just run us through who would have the advantage in that.
Honestly, I think if it goes late like it did last game, I have to give the edge to Council of Yorick's based purely off team comp. I think having a caster support to build Ardent Sensor and buff up your AD carry is a huge benefit in this meta, and so I like that for Council of Yorick's. I also like the fact that they have a true tank and not 2 off tanks that are gonna, and a support tank that are gonna combine to make a tank line, because Gnar can be bursted while he is in mini form. Kayn, while he does have a lot of self-healing, if he gets focused, he can be bursted down fairly easy. So I do like the comp for Council of Yorick for the late game. That being said, just like last game, I think that Team Phoenix Fire is a very lane dominant team, and they can snowball that to get a lead and kind of propel themselves ahead and just take over the game in the mid game.
Yeah, I'm interested to see this Caitlyn pick as well. Lazy Gentleman has this at their disposal, can match the wave clear of Neva. Daz on fire also on that range support, looking to get that Ardent Sensor very quickly. Hasn't gone for the Relic Shield on Neva, so definitely wants to try and survive this early laning phase against the Caitlyn. But we will see that as COYR is coming out for Daz on fire. A little bit of trade by Frosty Axe there in the top lane. He had a magnificent game on the Gnar for game 1. Let's see if he can match that in game 2.
Yeah, in picks and bans, we saw the Zac and the Taric ban come out, which I don't necessarily disagree with either of those, and I get having to ban Magnet Cross's Veigar, especially since Veigar is a power pick right now, and the new build for Veigar of rushing Bobby Boots, just walking down to a side lane and executing someone is kind of annoying to deal with. So I get the Taric and the Veigar ban. I think I would have banned the Gnar instead of the Zac, because even the Zac being able to jump on you from a long range and lane is something that's difficult to deal with. It's not as impactful on blue side as it is red side, but the Gnar, no matter what, is still going to be a constant split push threat, and so I think taking away a split push threat from the side of Team Phoenix Fire and making them fight you probably would have been the better option.
Alright, well, we do see a little bit of trading in the bot lane already, trying to get to that level 2 power spike there. Nice little bit of harassment here by Frosty Axe. He does have the advantage in this lane, and also just trying to deny a little bit of CS. There's only Maokai with the 2. Second wave is going to push up against the tower though. Level 2 now coming in for the bot lane. They do have it first on the side of Council Yorick's. Not going to be able to go too aggressive against that though, and that will be matched in turn.
So we see Kayn did a buff Wolf's buff clear to get himself an early level 3 while Graves is trending more towards a full clear of his jungle, trying to get an early power farm, and get quick items. And I think Kayn's looking to possibly get out some quick ganks and look to get his transformation as early as possible.
I don't know if that was spotted out, but Xanax is looking to go top onto this Maokai, having equalized that CS a little bit. Kane is on a ward though, this is known. Vladimir also looking to maybe roam around, but Magnet Cross says no to that. As a defensive Valkyrie means that Magnet Cross is out of the fight already. Xanax now literally playing ring around the rosy. This is really delaying the junglers. Nara's also come to join it as he had priority in his lane. Now they're looking to go aggressive. Going to use the blasting plant to come over here. Doesn't quite get the knockup, but will get the slow. Frosty Axter has to run away. Very slow early game for these top laners. Again, in the mid lane, Blackout is losing this 1v1 versus Magnet Cross. Magnet Cross low on mana though. Have that sustain on Vladimir.
As a Vladimir, you're going to lose a lot of 1v1 outright, but the power is being able to lose the 1v1 and then going able to sustain and take another 1v1 before your opponent's ready. So I don't necessarily think it's a big alarming thing that Blackout kind of lost that 1v1. It's just going to be interesting to follow how much he loses those 1v1s by, and if he's able to sustain back up, or if the pressure that Corki creates becomes too much.
Yeah, the wave actually pushing into Magnet Cross here. He could look to maybe stall that, maybe get a gank up from the Kane, who is looking to play aggressive early on.
And the first dragon of the game is going to be an Infernal Dragon. I do want to call attention to that because there are several dynamics at work here. Kane is going to be a big user of the dragon since he is a lot of his damage comes from abilities. Having that extra amplified damage when he builds at worst partially damage. I think of it more as like a Lee Sin type of build, where you might build 1 or 2 damage items, follow it up with a tanky. If you go Darken, if you go Shadow Reaver, then he's gonna build full damage, of course. So that Infernal Drake, then you got a Vladimir, a Graves, and a Zaya, who all make great use of an Infernal Dragon. So I really want to see once Maokai possibly gets 6, maybe them set up a teleport play in the bot lane and really make that Infernal Drake a point of emphasis.
Yeah, in game 1 it was heavy aggression to the bot lane. Actually a heavy amount of poke coming down to Aging Form, as he does have to use a shield just to ward the damage coming down. Neva and the Lulu just trying to push in there, equalizing the fun. Very even game in this early stage.
We saw the same thing play out very similarly in game 1-2, where it was back and forth. It wasn't either team getting a huge advantage, and it was kind of, it wasn't until 6 happened with the Shin and we started seeing teleport plays to the bot lane that we really started seeing the action take off. So it'll be interesting to see if this game mirrors last game in that regard.
Yeah, Graves actually looking to just get a little bit of purchase in the spot lane, trying to get down the Skull Crab. Both junglers are farming very strongly. Second red buff might get contested here. Xanax is on this. Is spotted out by someone Shadow, who's looking to come in. Actually flashes forward aggressively. Will get smited away by Xanax. That'll be the end of the trading scene. We'll get the blasting code out of there as bot lane were looking to collapse. But certainly flashing aggressively for that one.
I like the idea. The execution could have been a little bit cleaner, of course, but it does back off Izaniax and good timing by Council of Yorick to collapse on that Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, Infernal low. Someone Shadow is in the pit, taking a lot of damage actually. Will manage to get the kill there onto the Infernal.
Blackout's just going to body block, make sure the Corki doesn't try anything cheeky, and they are going to back out and get that Infernal Dragon for fairly free. Each lane gave up a little bit of farm, but that's about it, and it's definitely going to be worth it in the mid to late game having that early Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, Vladimir has very telegraph plays early on in the game, so I'd say he's farming quite well. Also part of the roster, coming in again as a substitution because of those connection issues. Blackout just sustaining a little bit of a goal deficit, but really not much at this stage in the game for such a champion like Vladimir, looking to just scale up, hit those power spike items, and surge forward.
Looks like Frosty Axeman misclicked, accidentally dropped his vision board in the middle of lane. Not going to do a lot for him right there.
That is ambitious value right there, Toe Knuckles.
I mean, you know that he doesn't have any the middle of lane to see you teleport somewhere if you push him out of lane. So
I mean, hey, his is up, and the Maokai's isn't. As it actually holds away, trying to get a little bit of chip damage onto the Maokai. Maokai also gone for that Barbie synergy, just looking to wave clear against the Naras. He is going to lose that 1v1 a lot of the time.
Strong point there, Rookter. His is up. It is seeing things. The Maokai's currently is not. So advantage to Nar's vision board.
It's just small things in life.
That being said,
One victory at a time.
One thing I would be concerned about on the side of Team Phoenix Fire is you get your Gnar into 2 advantageous matchups in a row, and he's having a hard time punishing his opposing laner.
Zhang is actually going to look to come on. It does flash forward aggressively onto Yordri Wifu. Gonna get the flash away as well. Gonna go down. First blood for Frosty Axe. Zhang actually going to fall to the ultimate of someone's shadow. Now Magnacross is actually fighting Blackout, but Blackout now needs to run as he will be in a 2v1 if he stays. Valkyrie forward again, a little bit more chip damage. He's now out of mana though. Magnacross can't pursue the Vladimir, who is about to just get the heal up on the passive. Yeah, traded again with the damage.
So we do see the Kane. He picks up the Balmy Cinder enchant for his jungle item. So I am definitely expecting a Black Cleaver into tank build into a Darken style playstyle. Probably more tanky than I'm even used to seeing from the Darken style, as indicated by that Balmy Cinder enchantment. And he does look to make that work as the primary initiator, it looks like.
Yeah, we have BF Swords on the carry, but Magnacross really needs to base. He's got 87 farm, but he's got a Dorian's Blade right now. Also to note in the bot lane, Asian Bomb does have that Sightstone finished, whereas we do have the Ardent Sensor Rush for the Lulu.
And sometimes I wonder, because as a player that's been casted before, I do listen to the cast all the way up until I am in game. So I am wondering if Magnacross heard my pregame analysis of the item efficiency of an Executioner's Calling, or if he just had the presence of mind to get that on his own. But I'm very impressed at this point that he did go ahead and pick that up early in his laning phase, and he's going to get maximum value out of that item. Even if he doesn't build it into the full Mortal Reminder, it will still serve him very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, taking a fair amount of poke here in lane, but yeah, you are right, we do have a Phage picked up, so Trinity Force is slowly getting worked towards. That Executioners will slow him down a little bit, but we do have a Hextech Protobelt picked up for the Vladimir, so Vladimir in a really nice spot by himself at the moment. No mobility though, with 0 boots. Just wanted to finish that item ASAP.
Well, I mean, he's got 2 flashes now, so, you know, why do you need boots when you got 2 flashes?
Exactly, is looking to go aggressive in this top lane again. Hasn't quite found the angle though, as Yordri Wifu is farming quite nicely in this lane. Kind of has a little bit of a freeze against him though. That will even out in a wave, so he should be able to pick that back up.
I mean, the unfortunate thing for Izaniac really only has one lane to gank in this game, since he's trying to go Darken. He either has to sacrifice 3.5 minutes from going to another lane, or he has to camp Dream Waifu up there in the top lane, who isn't necessarily your favorite target, being on that tanky Maokai. So
Yeah, and now Someone Shadow looking to come in the bot lane. He's got the red buff, slows down Agent Bomb as shield comes out for him. TP burners those damage. He's looking to counter engage this. Maybe there's now 4 bottom, 4 Phoenix Fire. The disengagement is there. Kind of a wasted TP, as maybe he needed to play a little bit more aggressive with that if he wanted to continue the fight. Mega Gnar was almost available to him as well. Your Dream Wifu getting a little bit of reprieve in this top lane.
We do see Blackout making taking advantage of his proto belt to go ahead and get extra harass off on the Corki. It is a really efficient item for Vladimir since it offers both health and AP. It doubly scales in both aspects, so it's a really strong one item power spike for Vladimir, and he's really trying to abuse that right now. So
yeah, this tower is almost down top lane. Throws a mallet now finished, so Foxy out might just look to pursue Your Dream Wifu all the way back to the base. Doesn't quite hit that first slow, so can't keep up that harass. But 100 farm on this Maokai is a very nice place to be. Pings now drown onto the second Drake, which will be the Cloud. Can they stack Drakes onto Council of Yorick's?
yeah, that Thornmail is trying to...
Oh, he goes aggressive, he splashes Forest Frost. Yes, does get the solo kill on that one. Also, Graves will secure that Calgary now. Xangus has to run out. Agent Bomb actually decides to go in. I don't think he wanted that, as he will slowly fall, even though that passive shield is giving him a lot of tankiness for that support at this point. We'll have Ocean as a third Drake.
How much damage did that Unbreakable absorb, though? Yeah, he went down, and that was crazy, the amount of damage that he ate and how much they had to pump into a support just to get that kill.
Yeah, they do have it.
As we said right before that happened, the Gnar was able to chase down the Maokai. That Bramble Vest, unfortunately, by itself does not do enough return damage to the Gnar to dissuade him from chasing that kill. Gets a kill under tower, and Dream Waifu is not having the best game, even though she is farming out very well, giving up a couple kills in lane and really struggled to keep that Gnar at bay. We do see Magnacross does have the package here. It's going to be interesting to see where he takes that package.
Yeah, Graves is ready for this though. On the side, just out of vision, just hoping that Magnacross will overstep the mark. Does get that reset of the Valkyrie though with the package.
Yeah, to be honest, I think Someone Shadow's kind of wasting his time here. And we just saw why. Having that package makes a Corki extremely mobile. Getting 2 Valkyries makes it really hard to gank. I think he would have been better off farming his jungle in that time frame, or possibly going to another lane. Although he did force the package out of Corki in the mid lane, which means he can't take it to a side lane and make a play off of it. So it's arguable to say if that was a good use of Someone Shadow's time.
Yeah, they are having a very delayed laning phase here, as the aggression in the bottom lane hasn't quite been representative of the first game. High farm numbers for these AD carries now, and with this extended laning phase just means that we can hit these power spikes of that Triforce, and also trying to get to that IE and Essence Reaver again in this bottom part of the map.
We did comment on the Caitlyn possibly being able to bully out with her range. However, it doesn't look like that's been the case so far. That Dan is on fire, doing a really good job on that Lulu, shielding out the poke damage.
Xangus is looking to go top, actually forces the flash out of Dream Wifu. Maokai having a rough time. Feels like it's 2v1.
Plus, Never's mastery of Xayah is really paying dividends, and it's keeping him not only in the game, but he's performing better than he should be at this point in lane phase against the Caitlyn. So really impressive to see that from the Xayah.
Again, we see that chip damage mid with that Protobelt just surging forward. Blackout actually taking a lot of damage in trades. The Valkyrie comes aggressively out onto Blackout, but Hemo Plague now plopped onto Magnacross, as Magnacross actually looks to play even more aggressive on that half health bar, but the sustain coming out of Blackout now. He's up on health. Actually, pops the Ghost. He's looking to go aggressive onto this. Actually isn't going to quite get the kill. 200 health bar, 400 on Blackout now, as they are trading quite aggressively. Neither one seems to commit. But the flash comes out as the passive coming out with the time bar. Wonderful play by Blackout there. Really nice flash to secure that kill.
You're casting the 1v1 in the mid lane. Meanwhile, my camera is taking me to the top lane. Someone Shadow comes up for a counter gank after Izaniax backs off. Frosty Axe doesn't have flash, but he does go mega and does have to use his ultimate to escape a gank, but he does so. And now it's the 1v1 in the low health bar on Frosty Axe is going to lead to a Rift Herald for Council of Yorick's.
I just had an inkling that was going to go further. Blackout securing that kill means that he can rotate to that Rift Herald, secure that for his team. Now Council of Yorick's in the slight ascendancy here. 1500 gold up.
It is really nice to see them have a stronger lane phase than last game, considering they came back from such a deficit. Maybe not having to play from a deficit this game will transition to better results for them at the end of the game.
Yeah, Lazy Gentleman had a stomping laning phase on that Jinx, propelled forward by that sort of collapses that came from the team. I mean, this laning phase is massive now. This is coming up to 20-minute laning phase. 2 Drakes over also to Council Yorick, so they've got the gold lead, they've got the map objectives as well. Frozen Mallet not really paying dividends in this top lane, as that Sunfire Cape really is helping Maokai keep this turret alive, despite the constant threat of Exanius coming up here. Now Graves is looking for the mid lane, actually has to jump over the wall against the Valkyrie coming out by Magnacross.
I mean, it's kind of a rare feat for...
Oh, this is the danger. I don't know if this top lane is a fight, but Extreme Wifu trying to get some vision down in the lane, actually going to get to Frosty Axe to half health as well, but health bars are going low. Does have his ultimate available under the tower, but Frosty Axe is looking aggressive. He's now tanking the tower. That means your Dream Wifu is looking to go aggressive again, and the last tower shot will trade for the kill, but no, he won't. Frosty Axe gonna pick that up. That was super clutch. Well played to him. And again in bottom lane, Lulu ultimate burnt on Blackout as Magnacross looking to go aggressive and plays all around the map now. Ghost again picked up as maybe they're looking for some re-engage here. Ocean Drake is available. No one to really tank this up as well, as no one wants to come through that choke point for Council of Yorick's.
That Gnar made it out. My dad used to have a saying, Rookter, he made it out by the skin of his teeth. So, you know, very narrowest of margins, but it was almost a really clean turnaround by Dream Waifu, but since Dream Waifu died, it wasn't clean at all in the end. So,
poor man sacked the mid lane, but someone's Shadow has to get the shield off the Lulu there. Goes very low. Rift Herald get a lot of poke damage on this mid lane tower. But yeah, you're right, the plays in the top lane, very sharp line.
I think the thing that's hurting the Gnar right now, the reason stand in the lane, make the plays that close, is because the Gnar did. It looked like he's rushing a Randuin's Omen pretty quickly. Whereas if he would have rushed a Black Cleaver, he would have been the bigger split pushing threat. The Maokai wouldn't have even been able to offer resistance at this point.
Yeah, but Maokai actually gets the first tower against the split pushing Frosty Axe Frozen Mallet there. That was off the TP down to bottom lane. It took him a long time to come back to top. I am afraid of this Vladimir. Vladimir seems to be putting out a lot of damage already. Again, this extra laning phase, he's slowly just cranking up these items as he has now finished that Spectral Cow. Also looking to pick up a little bit of CDR as well on top of that. Goes aggressive again against Magnacross.
And we just see this pattern over and over where the Vladimir comes in, take a small chunk out of Magnacross's health bar. Might get it traded back on him, but that's okay because, you know, he'll just go back and sustain.
Yeah, they're trying to get their second tower off the game here. As also in bot lane, they are looking to get a lot of chunk damage down. They've got the wave with them as well. So that should be the second tower falling. Ladies and gentlemen, not quite able to get there. Malphite also joining mid. They want to try and get the third tower. They're now tanking it. Malphite doesn't want anything of that as Nars now coming in. Frozen Mallet is on. He's slowing them down. Xanax, can they close the gap? He actually flashes aggressively forward onto Stunning Shadow, forcing the flash away from him. Blackout also going to be very low. Can Xanax get the kill? He will. That will be traded up against him now. Frosty Axe now, it's aggressive, he flashes forward, he gets a two-man now as he's now disengaging with Asian Bomb in the front line. This is where kind of where you want to be. Blackout is out that, but he gets exhausted. The ultimate comes out for Lulu to save his life though. Now Your Dream gets stunned up, not under tower range though, as Lulu takes a couple of shots back and forward with these two towers. It is a very short ground to attack and defend against.
Very impressive by Blackout, just sitting there playing with the slightest of health bars, knowing that his health bar will go up and down throughout the fight. So even though it's not starting full, doesn't mean he's out of the fight yet. Manages to get as much damage out as possible before he's forced to bag by the rotation of...
Oh, Neva trying to go aggressive on Lady Gentleman actually takes a lot of damage there, as Brom was a bit slow to react to that. I thought more was going to come out of that, but yeah, you're right. The Vladimir playing very nicely as well. Almost got that Zona's Hourglass, so he'll have even more tankiness. Triforce was not completed prior to that fight starting. Now it is, so Corki in a much better position.
We don't see the Death's Dance yet from someone's Shadow. A little strange in my opinion. Hopefully that Zeal item turns into a Phantom Dancer pretty quick. Graves needs that artificial tankiness you get from the certain combination of items, since he is a short range carry champion.
Yeah, Dan's on fire trying to contest Lazy Gentleman for the red buff. Doesn't quite manage to get it though. Uses the blast pit to get out, and now Blackout is just going to be able to get back to his team.
Package just expired for Magnet Cross, so that was something that they were probably trying to make a play off of with the dragon. Didn't have to use it for the dragon, and unfortunately it expired without being able to take advantage of it. So
yeah, Graves has been split pushing bottom all this time, actually forcing the ultimate out of Neva. Xanax maybe looks to go aggressive again, but Blackout doesn't quite take the trade. But Graves doing a lot of work on the bottom side of the map, just trying to split push. Now has a massive CS advantage over Xanax, who's looking to just play mid.
yeah, the Graves really has power farmed this game out. But at the same time, I still feel like currently...
Oh, TP coming out from Malphite. Actually, someone's Shadow is on the front line here. Has to back away now, uses the ultimate just to disengage that. Yoifu is now tanking the tower as the fight continues. Xanius has got the Hemoblade on him. Neva gonna caught out, gets flashed, but will fall for that one. Now Dazzle Flash also has to flash out. This is a bit of a route for Council of Yorick. There is a double kill coming out now for Magnet Cross. They're back into the fight now. Blackout's in the back line, but he will fall as a passive stun comes out for the Brom. Now they're looking to go aggressive with the 2v3. Frosty Axe does now have Meganar. He doesn't quite have Flash available to continue this fight. Oh, someone Shadow actually has to take the shield down. Just trying to block that ace in the hole there. Lazy Gentleman trying to just get that last kill on the back of the fight.
Yeah, and Blackout again, just doing a lot of work that fight. It's unfortunate that as he kited in and out of that fight, he wasn't able to get to the back line early in the fight, and so Magnet Cross and Lazy Gentleman were able to kind of pump out pretty consistent damage all the way throughout that fight, whereas Frosty Axe and Zany, they put a lot of pressure on Never and made his life difficult to deal out damage, plus some inadvertent tower shots probably tanked up by Dream Waifu. Made that fight.
This is a free Baron right here, Toe Knuckles.
It is the free Baron. Great use of the blast cone to bypass any vision wards.
I mean, they were making a play around this Cloud Ray. That is an interesting priority there by Phoenix Fire. I mean, they will probably get this Cloud Ray. Summon Shadow actually looking to maybe collapse on this, but doesn't have Smite available, so it does take so much damage by Magna Cross. Actually, Ace in the Hole tries to come up, will not quite secure the kill there, but this is certainly their Cloud Ray. Traded for Barrow though, ultimately.
I mean, that's where we see the Graves being punished for not building a Death Dance early, being able to cut that damage out, at least reduce a chunk of that damage. Instead he gets chunked himself, not completing any of his
Xander's taking a lot of damage there from Neva. Actually can't quite do that. To have double rapid fire cannon now finished for Phoenix Fire, so they are looking to do this little bit of chip damage, and that's what you saw against Someone's Shadow.
Did you know that if you build an adaptive helm and Ninja Tab Eyes against Corki, you block something like 38-40% of his damage with just those two items?
It's not surprising though. I mean,
it's the two most efficient items to build against a Corki. There you go. Now you know.
Yeah.
But as we take inventory of the items in the game, we do see that Blackout's trifecta of Proto Belt, Spirit Visage, and Zanya's is almost complete. That's going to allow him to be that backline menace that he wants to be on that Vladimir. Really put a lot of pressure on Magna Cross and Lazy Gentleman.
Frosty Axe now looking to play aggressive in this bottom lane. Graves again split pushing, massive farm on him, but Frosty Axe certainly now winning this 1v1 against the tanky Maokai. This is a bit of a balance fight in the middle as Corki is now being sent to deal with the split pushing Graves, but that will be a tower down package now coming out. This will force a fight definitely against these two. Someone's Shadow gonna win that just by the skin of his teeth. Pushing forward actually in the mid lane now, they go aggressive as well. Blackout very low, Ace in the Hole. Zonya's now actually, but Xanix will try to secure this kill. Actually, he's alive! Dad is on fire. Actually, flash forward from Xanix to secure both of those kills. The TP coming out a little bit delayed here for Dream Wifu. He's looking to try and trade it 2v2, but he just doesn't have the DPS to kill any of these two. Actually coming out with the ult now, tries to go on the Caitlyn, does secure the kill, but has to flash away. Such a slither of health there. Graves winning that 1v1 does mean that the inhibitor will fall in the top lane. Actually trying to one away now from Frosty Axe. Frosty Axe can maybe secure this, but no, a little bit of shuffle there from Samsung's Shadow, and he will fall to the quick draw. Just getting away.
The entire time we were watching the play-by-play, I was following along with my directed camera, listening to your marvelous play-by-play there, and wondering why it was that Council of Yorick was maybe taking a questionable fight and overstaying when they had opportunities to get out, and then all of a sudden I see the pings on the mini-map from probably Frosty Axe, since he's the one that responded, but I saw someone's Shadow down there taking the inhibitor, and it kind of made sense. They were just in a stop the backs mode, not necessarily a let's fight this out.
Now building the death dance as well on him.
It's good that he's finally getting it. I do think it's extremely delayed. I probably would have built that after Warrior, but it's better late than never.
Your Dream Wifu taking a lot of damage, but he is a Maokai, he is tanky. Actually, Featherstorm done by Neva. Now they're looking to go aggressive. Blackout is in the front line with Hema play on. That's now been popped. Xenix is very low. Can he fall? Dream will pick that up. Now they've gone with the ultimate. Frosty Axe is trying to get in there. Actually, really nice trap there coming into play. Now the damage comes out. Lazy Gentleman piling on the damage in the back end of this fight. Going for Blackout. Actually gets a kill in return. But that is secured now. But again, they are just playing the split push. Someone's Shadow trying to split against this as well, forcing the back out of Lazy Gentleman. But again, the Brom there is traded against, and the tower, like, there's no damage in the mid lane. Like, Frosty Axe is now going to trade one tower, but yeah, I mean, this Graves is just abandoning team fights, trying to win the macro play.
I don't know if this is by design or what. They just feel like with the Graves, he doesn't provide as much presence as the Kayn in a team fight, so they're just trying to get him off into the side lanes, create as much pressure as possible. The thing is, though, is like at some point the Team Phoenix Fire is just gonna have to figure out, hey, let's go kill the Graves and then go fight them 5v4. And once they figure that out, I think it's gonna put Council of Yorick's in a troublesome position.
Yeah, I think maybe with those Merc Treads, actually, when Death Dance is finished, Graves can probably be the ultimate split pusher, as I don't think anyone could maybe match him. Maybe the Caitlyn could just kite him away and kill him, but you probably wouldn't want to send your Caitlyn off to the side lane to answer that call.
I think the Gnar might be able to if he were to build a Black Cleaver, which he still hasn't built.
No, he's going very tanky this game.
And I'm guessing that's because of what we talked about in the pregame about Kayn's not a primary engage, so they're maybe looking for Gnar to be more of that main frontline tank with the Kayn to be the follow-up.
Yeah, Your Dream Wifu certainly at this stage is absorbing so much damage for the team. They're looking to contest around this Ocean Drake now, though.
It's certainly worth noting too that Blackout is really empowering the Graves, someone's Shadow, to complete these split pushes because of the fact that he's able to, even if he's not dishing out damage, he's able to in and out, just be a menace and just kite back and forth and stay alive for so long and draw so much attention that even if one person is able to get out of combat and break away, it's probably not more than one person, which, as we stated before, the Graves can handle a 1v1 at this stage in the game. So
yeah, Death Dance now finished on him means that I really reckon that he can probably outduel the Gnar at this point with that Phantom Dancer and that Yumu's Ghostblade.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to take away from the side of Council of Yorick's, but I really want to see, now that he has those two artificial tank items, quote unquote, the Death Dance and the Phantom Dancer complete, I want to see if they're able to group up as a 5-man unit and force a fight, take the Baron, and just knock down that mid lane. Now that they've done so well opening up the side lanes, and see if they can actually put pressure and not resort to catching Team Phoenix Fire not paying attention with the split push for a few minutes.
What do you think about the choice for going Bloodthirster 4th item, having not completed that 3rd crit item on the Caitlyn left? Do you think maybe she forgot about the static shiv?
I think probably what it has to do with, if I'm guessing, I'm not saying I could necessarily justify it, but with a Maokai lining up to sit there and get on top of you and lock you down for a Vladimir who's doing very well to get back to you, you just need something to sustain to keep you in the fight. Because if Vladimir chunks you pretty hard and you have to get out of the fight, you don't have your shield, heal, caster type of support.
Yeah, you don't have the Ardent Sensor, Lulu, buffing you up for that one. I'd agree also, but maybe you could have just stalled on the Vamp Scepter and then decided to change that BF sword to that secondary Zeal item.
Right. I definitely think that it should have been a second Zeal item plus a Vamp Scepter. I agree with you on that front. But at this point, maybe she's looking for the shield as well on top of the healing, and so that's why she's going for...
I mean, this is a low attack speed Caitlyn right here. This is 1.4 attacks a second currently. And that is a little bit on the low side. I would say I'd like to see that third or that second attack speed item come into play. Do also have Haunting Guys finished there for the Corky, just moving around the champions a little bit here, as they have now unpaused.
I don't necessarily hate the Haunting Guys on Corky, considering there's only one true tank threat, so he doesn't need the Lord Doms like he went for last game to cut through health.
Oh, Magnicross actually looking to 1v1, but decides against it with the Valkyrie onto Blackout. Now they're trading, but they've actually started Baron up here. It's down to half health already as Wifu's onto the Caitlyn. And now they push forward. Neva's in a little bit of trouble there. Frosty Axe trying to get there, but so much damage coming out of Neva now as the Lulu ultimate planted on him as Asian Bomb before as well. Actually going to trade against that on Frosty Axe, who stays in the fight, all in the backline, but the backline absolutely demolished there for Council Yorick. This will mean the Baron going over to them.
And just like I said in the pause, I wanted to see the Graves now they would strong out his artificial tank items. I wanted to see him group up, fight 5v5 around course and objective, and if they do that, they win the fight, and hopefully they can knock down mid and kind of open up the map even more.
Yeah, they unleash their full team fight power there as they do now have the Baron buff. They also are looking to secure this open inhibitor in the top lane to reset that, then they might look to base and then push again in the side lanes, potentially to bot lane because that inhibitor is open. This is all thanks to the Grave split push coming out. Oh, they're trying to re-engage the fight here now, trying to stop the packs and the knock-up coming out of Blackout. He has to pop Zhonya's, he has pull available to him. No, he doesn't quite have the cooldown. Lazy Gentleman gonna pick up that kill now because Xanax is looking to go aggressive on someone. Does land the knock-up now. That'll be ace of the hole, popped over. Actually flashed again on Xanax. Xanax is looking to keep going on this. Neva wasn't there.
That curse of being on a team and wanting to save your teammate, once Blackout was kind of tagged up with some of the slows in the CC, his teammate should have preserved Baron and kind of said, sorry buddy, see you later, we needed on at least more of us than we can manage to afford. So Dream Waifu and Dana's on fire got the message. They left poor someone Shadow out to dry, but
yeah, they're looking to stop this now. Actually, Neva's doing a lot of damage to the backline there. Can't quite get the hits on Lazy Gentleman. Does have the passive down, but not actually going to proc that off the Brom. Neva really playing quite aggressive in that 2v4 margin to get a lot of damage down onto that backline.
And we do see the bot wave is pushing heavily in favor of the Council of Yorick. It does look like Caitlyn's going to go clean that up, collect a huge wave, although it should open up the opportunity for Council of Yorick to push mid since the Gnar is in the top. The Caitlyn is relegated to go into fend off the open inhibitor, and hopefully
yeah, this potentially gives someone Shadow an opportunity to hit the tower, but Asian Brom says no as Xanax goes in with him. Now Asian Brom going to be very low, actually flashes away. Lazy Gentleman also taking quite a bit of burst there from the Vladimir. Goes down ultimately to the Graves. Now they go under the tower, they're tower diving now. Shield up, going to be onto Shadow to stop him from falling to the tower damage. And they've got the Baron, they've won the fight. 4 kills over to Council of Yorick. It looks like we go into a game 3 as Neva's now playing very aggressive. They're going to look to take this bottom inhibitor as well as mid as Dan's on fire joins them. They're just looking to end out the game.
Major props to Council of Yorick to bounce back in game 2. Having to not only bring in a substitute top laner, but they're swapping roles. I believe they have 2 different players from last game.
Their mid laner and then Dan's on fire went from mid lane to support. We'll see whether or not the bans change as well, as we did have some interesting bans coming out for Phoenix Fire. Then we do have a game 3 on our hands, so stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for casting with me, Toe Knuckles, and we'll be back for game 3 in 5 to 10 minutes.
My tournament code is invalid.
I wanna be born again, wanna play you in tonight. I wanna play you in, I can hold it in tonight. Yeah, so come on, let's cross to the other side. Hold on tight, just close your eyes and listen. And listen.
Your judgment is clouded. Seek clarity.
Absolutely, Rookter. It's been a great series so far. Back and this is for all the marbles. This is for first place in RPL. I believe after this week. So a lot on the line already in the third week. We do see the same bands from Council of Yorick as last game. Don't change it if it's not broken with the Zach, Tarek, and Vagar. We see a Maokai, Twitch, Sejuani from the side of Team Phoenix Fire. And I'm looking for a flex type pick that could go top or jungle here. Maybe a Sejuani for someone Shadow, or maybe a J4 even. I'm not sure if that's in their champion pool. We do see the Rakan come out though. Yeah, we'll see how Team Phoenix Fire plays this out. I think it's really important. Magna Cross has been a con- had a decent showing on the Corky so far. I would like to see maybe something a little bit more impactful. Let him use his playmaking potential to snowball his team for as they head into the mid game and late game. Um, I can tell you from the last two games, I already like
Into
the
the lab.
adaptation by Team Phoenix Fire to go with a more lane dominant mid laner and a early ganking, very strong jungler in the J4. I really hope to see Izani X focus that mid lane, get Magna Cross ahead, and just allow that Syndra to snowball and take over the game. A very strong pick because you can bait out the Zaya's ultimate with um, a Jarvan EQ, a Jarvan Cataclysm, and really to open that up for Magna Cross to just press R and delete the Zaya.
We do what we must.
Yeah, they banned Rakan when they had already shown a Lulu, so a little bit cleaner draft from Team Phoenix Fire in the third game. It's going to be interesting to see what they pick up here with that fourth pick before they toss it back over and then get themselves a final counter pick. What are you expecting to see here? I'm probably gonna say that they pick up their AD carry and save the top lane to get a counter pick in the top lane just to let Frosty X up and I mean, there's not really anyone either that's going to threaten you with long range abilities on the side of Council of Yorick's to maybe negate the Vayne pick. I was thinking they might go for a Kog'Maw for the long. He did have a good showing on it in game one, but it is, like you said, very high risk. She kind of sits there. She does have the traps to defend herself against the Cho'Gath, rushing in with the Gargoyle Stone Plate and um, I mean, you also have the knockback from Syndra, so she can also help keep those frontliners at bay. I think the big onus on this game is going to be on the Gragas, being able to throw the cask in and get one of those carries separated from their team. If they can do that, I really think they have a good shot to win the team fights. However, if that doesn't happen and they're able to just kind of kite back, use the Jarvan ult to create separation, as well as the Alistar being able to headbutt people away and just kind of fight as they're taking a step back, I really think it favors Team Phoenix Fire in this matchup. I guess I'm just a big fan of the potential gank pressure that a Jarvan brings in the early game compared to a Gragas, since Gragas has taken some nerfs recently. Jarvan's taken a slight nerf to his shield, but I just think the overall pressure that a Jarvan can put out compared to a Gragas, plus once we get to the mid game and the team fighting stage, I think the Gragas is a lot more dependent on his ultimate than a Jarvan is, where he can still assist his team with a knock up on the EQ, with the attack speed buff on top of a hyper scaling Jinx that his flag does offer. It's all just little minor things that I think add up. Whereas I think the only uh, true threat to the Jinx and Syndra would possibly be the Vladimir. I think the Cho'Gath is easily kiteable with the assistance of the Alistar and the Shin, and I think that's why I favor Team Phoenix Fire. So it's interesting that we both have opposing views on this. We both favor one team over another for contrasting styles. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think so too. Rakan does get the extra distances whenever he is paired with a Zaya. On top of the fact that Zaya gets a little bit of extra damage when paired with a Rakan, they play off each other. Everyone knows about that. I'm not dropping any new knowledge, but it's important to point out that they're getting those advantages, and it's not into an enchanter lane that can keep Rakan at bay and poke and harass him. It is into an Alistar lane, a melee champion that I feel does the same thing Rakan does, but does it worse at this point. I think Rakan is a slightly stronger champion currently. I think they both provide a similar role. Maybe Alistar offers a little bit more utility in the disengage aspect. Oh yeah, I was more pointing out to the aspect of their laning phases. The I think they're very similar in nature in what they do in a 2v2 or a 3v3. Alistar maybe providing just slightly more in a sense of disengage, but Rakan providing long range engage, as well as the shields and um, the extra damage buff to the Zaya.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn."
Oh yeah, let's get down.
I mean, to be fair, he did start it and finish it at the same time. He hasn't upgraded it. So
First blood.
it's everything you could have hoped for off that invade with Council of Yorick, starting Relic, and then also being able to maybe a longsword right off the bat, so your actual raw power, laning power isn't hurt, and you get that advantage of having the extra gold in lane. So it's going to be interesting to see how that bot lane plays out now that they do have that big advantage. As we look at the matchups going into the lane.
Just FYI, guys, I'm sorry about the technical difficulty. I was actually muted for the first sort of 10 minutes and during the loading screen, so a little bit of a one-sided conversation there for Toe Knuckles. Just to repeat, this is Council of Yorick's versus Team Phoenix Fire, as there is a level 2 invade into Blackout in the mid lane. He will take down the red buff and be on his merry way.
So I guess I sound like a crazy man arguing against myself, but you know, whatever. No big deal. People probably already thought I was crazy anyway. We see action going down in the bot lane. Both teams pushing for that level 2 power spike, and so they're getting scrappy at level 1 instead. I did want to point out, as we look at these lane matchups, the Shen does have the ability to get to other lanes a little bit easier, having both teleport and his ultimate. But I think that Cho'Gath is going to put a lot more pressure on the push because of Vorpal spikes. And so I think whereas Shen in previous games has gone more of a straight tank build.
Actually, heavy aggression in the bot lane by Xayah. Can't quite get the kill, but ladies and gentlemen, very low. Alistair also taking a lot on the back end of that Asian Bron, down to half health. Jarvan also coming down to the bot side. Can he look to turn this fight around? Or will he actually look to go mid? He just trying to secure the skull at the moment. Heavy aggression by this bot lane, as expected from Xayah and Rakan. They have a very strong early game.
But what I was saying is, I think it's going to be actually something we want to see. We do see the all-in from Magnicross.
Yeah, he's actually flashed forward now and got down the ignite. Won't pick up the kill.
Unfortunately, it would have been nice for Magnicross to go ahead, get that kill, start snowballing on that Syndra. That's what you want on your Syndra. She becomes a little bit lackluster if she doesn't snowball the game. She becomes a very inferior control mage with the power of her stun, but not being able to blow anybody up. What I was talking about with the Shin, though, let's get back to that. I do think the Cho'Gath does have the push power as we head into the mid and late game, because those two top laners are going to be in side lanes a lot. I think it does force the Shin this game specifically to have to build the Titanic Hydra in order to just match the push power. Otherwise, he's going to be sitting under tower a lot.
Yeah, those Vorpal spikes certainly just giving the free push over to your Dreamwolf, who has to be careful in the early game though against the Jarvan, who can gank aggressively into this champion.
We do see the Syndra already paying off for Magnicross, just providing a lot of strength that he didn't have on the Corki pick, putting a lot of pressure. It is burst-based pressure, so as you were talking about, Vladimir's going to build that Spirit Visage again in this game, and he's really going to cut out that burst. So it's important for the Syndra to get a snowball going and to make sure that she stays ahead of the Vladimir's magic resistance with her penetration items, her sword shoes, possibly a Haunting Guise, but definitely her Void Staff. Otherwise, she's just going to get, again, just pushed under tower, just like the Cho'Gath is going to push the Shen under tower. And so item timing and item choices are extremely important in this game, more so than the other two games.
Yeah, this is nice for the bot lane of Council of Urix as well, having picked up that first blood early on in the game. Nevo also even on farm with that relic shield and the coin as well, so more gold generation knockup coming out. Doesn't quite pick up, ladies and gentlemen, as damage down onto Asian Brom now as the exhaust comes out as well. Gragas now trying to flank again onto that one. Has forces a double flash out actually by the bot lane of Phoenix Fire. They're now having to try and just collect themselves in this bottom lane.
Yeah,
oh, they go back again and knock up onto Asian Brom. Asian Brom's very low. Flash forward aggressively from Nevo. Picks up the kill. Actually going over to Lunar Rabbit there.
Good punish by Lunar Rabbit. Very disrespectful on the part of Team Phoenix Fire. Asian Brom and Lazy Gentleman pushing up past the halfway point in that lane. Just having their summoners blown, knowing the Gragas can't even be out of the area yet. Really greedy.
Exactly, it is level 4. He might be looking for this though, as Magna Cross had priority in the mid lane. Also has level 6, so he can definitely burst someone down. He now has to kite away from the fight now. Lazy Gentleman coming back up, lands a slow onto Neva. Neva's out of mana, actually will get knocked up. This is the target. He will fall down to unleash power. And the ADC, Lazy Gentleman, picking up that first kill of the game for him. Dragon completely reset now, as that's now going to be started by Phoenix Fire. Someone's Shadow is actually looking for this. He does have the blast cone available to him. I don't know if he wants to take this. It'd be a little bit risky, maybe early in the game if he doesn't mind doing it. Actually, Sanders tries to go and pops the blast cone. That was actually very cleverly played, just to avoid that interaction altogether. Does have Smite available, so that should go over. Mountain Drake consolidated for Phoenix Fire.
I still feel someone Shadow could have stuck around and body slammed over the wall. Granted, he probably would have gotten headbutted right back out, but he could have made a play considering one was level 5 to Zany's level 4. But probably the safer choice to just go ahead and concede the dragon and just reset things for your team. But back to what happened in the bot lane. Good call by Lunar Rabbit to go ahead and punish the over-aggression and I don't know if you want to say greed, arrogance, but Asian Brom had no business coming up that far in lane. He should have probably backed or at least sat under tower, conceded a little bit of lane pressure, but they got punished for it.
Well, Alistair can't really disengage the fight if he doesn't have the cooldowns available to him, and burning the flash as well meant that he was fully exposed in the lane. Battle started off with that and taking full advantage of that situation.
If I'm Council, or I'm sorry, if I'm Team Phoenix Fire right here, then I'm sitting here playing around the Cinder. She already basically popped Never. Granted, Lazy Gentleman did get the last hit, but she's already showing some lane dominance, putting a lot of pressure on the Vladimir, and I really think it's important for Zanny to go ahead and start ganking that lane. In the reverse, if I'm someone Shadow, if I'm the Gragas, I'm going back to bot lane, knowing that they don't have their flashes for another minute or two. I'm trying to make a play on there and see if I can't pull the Shin ultimate out for free before any more objectives come back up.
Heavily Lazy Gentleman would be the target of that. Now has hit 6th. Both ADCs have BF swords available to them. Again with the gold generation for the supports here. Really nicely ahead on this Rakan, meaning that we do have the gold lead over to Council of Urix.
And as we look at the map, Dream Waifu.
Oh, this is Gragas going down to the bottom, actually knocked up, barrel pushed, and Lazy Gentleman will fall. Now they're looking for the second kill. Asian Brom, exhaust comes down. That was very late as the aid carry, already fallen. Ultimate available for Cataclysm might be used here for Xanix. Now they're tanking tower, actually flashes away. They do not want any more of this fight. Council of Urix pick up the kill on the ADC.
I was actually watching the minimap during that engage, kind of keeping two eyes across the screen. It did look like Dream Waifu was able to go ahead and just pressure the Shin, get all up in his face, and make sure he couldn't ult down to the bot lane during that fight. So even though they didn't necessarily draw out the Shin ultimate, which I think would have been more ideal, it did result in them getting a kill on Never, who has been a strong player in this series so far on that Xayah pick, and it did allow for Council of Yorks to go ahead and start snowballing that bot lane.
Yeah, up in farm as well now, as it was denied to the tower. Jinx now in a little bit of a deficit behind this. Essence Reaver almost finished at 11 minutes for Neva in a nice strong position here. Also to note that the summoners for the bot lane, we do have Barrier on Neva and the heal on Luna Rabbit that is currently on cooldown. Actually, Knockup not going to land on Blackout, as he might still be in trouble. No ultimate coming through from Magnet Cross. I'm not sure if he had the range for that, but that was a suitable flash out. Can also flash in response to that if needed, but Someone's Shadow actually coming in forces the emergency flash out of Magnet Cross. Now they're looking to re-engage. Ultimate available, but the mana is low for Magnet Cross. Don't think he can quite complete this kill onto the Gragas. Is managing to be able to take out that pink ward in the process though, having got the Vladimir low.
Okay, we're at 11 minutes and 40 seconds, and I said the game plan for Team Phoenix Fire was to snowball this.
Wait, knock up here on the Agent Bomb. He has to force the flash away. He's so low though. Can Luna consolidate this kill? No, he won't be able to. He has to run back to his AD carry, but that is Agent Bomb very low. He does have 2 health pots. He'll need to use both to have purchase in this lane now.
But
by the way, you sound very behind me, so if you push the plus button, you can just speed up. I'm at 12:22, 12:23.
I am at 12:30.
Oh,
so
alright. Good stuff. Oh, Magnet Cross actually taking a lot of damage in this mid lane as well.
if I ever go quiet for just a second, it's because I see action happening. I know you're the play-by-play guy. I let you do your thing. But, if I ever just go quiet out of nowhere in the middle of a thought, it's because I'm opening up the floor for you to take control and do your play-by-play thing. But anyway, what I was saying about this matchup, going into the matchup, is I thought it was very important for IZNEX to get Magnet Cross rolling in the mid lane, get him snowballed. We didn't see a gank in the mid lane on side of Team Phoenix Fire for 11 and a half minutes into the game is when it finally came. Syndra was, I believe, like level 8 at the time, and so I would have liked to have seen her when she hit 6. Now that the Vladimir, Flash, and Ghost are both down, I want to see a return trip to the mid lane by IZNEX as soon as Magnet Cross gets back to mid lane.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to set up vision around. He's again in the river here. Blackout actually going to be spotted on the roam, potentially down to bottom. And second Mountain Drake is up for grabs here. Xania's actually going to take the 2v2, but he's just baiting it into the bot lane here. Asian Brom and little Lazy Gentleman come up. Asian Brom decides he wants to go in, but the team isn't quite with him. Teleport now being channeled for Dream Wifu as he's going to look to try and kite it out. Luna Rabbit actually going in for the 2v1 in the bot lane. Currently, he is getting Stand United. Asian Brom is still alive down in the bot lane as well. Xanax will fall to Neva. Looking up at the top, Magnet Cross so low as the little auto attack comes out from Black Cross Scout to secure that. Now Asian Brom solo under the tower, has no ultimate available to him. Blackout looking to secure his second kill now. Will get the double kill available to him. Mountain Drake also still up for grabs. Blue buff channeled away and taken by Neva should secure this. Will be gifted over to the AD carry.
They'll also go ahead and even out the Drakes. Both teams gonna have access to a Mountain Drake after that play in that series of events. We do see that we take a look at warding, and it looks like Council of Yorks is doing a much better job warding the map in the areas that they plan to be fighting in, a lot of action in the next few minutes. We see two wards for the red team in the river, and that is whereas we have a complete circle of wards around the Dragon Pit for Council of Yorick, and it's paying off because they're able to see the movements of Team Phoenix before they actually happen. So
yeah, exactly. Also got that Spectral Cow coming out for the Vladimir, so Blackout in a nice place. Also got that 2 kills, got that double kill just a second ago. He's looking nice in this mid lane now. The early aggression from Manicross not quite capitalizes. The gold is fairly even between the mid laners, and Morello Nomicon now finished for him.
they go aggressive in the bot lane.
Oh yeah, K2 actually forces a flash out of Lazy Gentleman. Asian Brom also taking a lot of poke and harassed by Neva as well. Blue buff on him so he can just spam abilities all day long. Asian Brom actually looking to back. He doesn't have flash available. He does have his ultimate. Lazy Gentleman is gonna be alone in the lane. Asian Brom kind of can't leave his AD carry right now though. Jarvan suddenly looking to come around the back. He might get spotted for the ward if he leads his Tribush. Gragas taking full advantage of this though, is already invading, going to be taken out of pink, so it'll be traded. Noted that it will be 3v2. Now they go in and actually press under the tower. Neva uses his ultimate, tries to get away. Now Lazy Gentleman is free firing on the backline onto Luna Rabbit. He will fall, reset onto that one. Stun available. Neva trying to escape but can't quite get the damage down. Lazy Gentleman picking up that, couldn't quite finish the route there.
Yeah, never at a very
Someone's Shadow actually diving, sorry, top lane, gonna get knocked up as well. Dream gonna get nommed down for the kill. That'll be another stack of the passive to him.
Never had a very aggressive use of the ultimate, trying to snare up both players in the ultimate instead of using it to kind of drift backwards out of that J4 ult. Wanted to try and get as many people hit by the root collar as possible. While we do see a tower trade go down, very smart play by Council of Yorick to not only get the tower in the top lane to trade, but also transition that to the Rim World. Dream Waifu coming in, having a great game as a sub in both games so far. Standing up there being a rock in the top lane. Already has a 101 lead on the Shin. Now gets to push him even further up the lane. Gonna have to get warding help probably from the Gragas. Get some wards around the red buff just so she can push up further. Even though we do see a lane swap coming through, so that's probably not gonna be an option.
Yeah, that will be that the tower bot lane is suddenly in jeopardy as the gold lead is mounting to 4k for Council Yorick. Again, Blackout looking to go aggressive, but the trade back actually dodges the ultimate though as Blackout trades his flash away. Now he's looking to go a little bit aggressive. Will he fall? The damage does come down. Super Nega Death Rocket will pick up the kill in the mid lane. Stan United going to be channeled onto the AP carry. Magnet Cross now. Something Shadow wants to continue the fight. Flashes forward. Actually knocks Magnet Cross back into the team. Asian Bomb now taking the brunt of that. Frosty Axe tries to get back into there. Ultimate coming down from Neva. Trying to just root up any members he can. Ticking health bars now for Phoenix Fire as they are in a deficit. Mid lane tower might be forfeit to this. Jinx in the top lane getting the farm. Not quite well, but the Cataclysm comes down onto the Herman. He will fall. Now Something Shadow trying to just run away from this as the re-engagement late. Lazy Gentleman picks up a kill, gets the reset. Now they're onto the main tank. Your Dream Wifu, the cleanup is here. The aggression coming out for Phoenix Fire as they try to recollect this fight, having the breath of life of the ADC coming back into play. Frosty Axe just might look for the taunt under the tower. This is a very tanky Cho'Gath though. His ultimate is also off cooldown, so there will be no coming out from this champion.
Quite a series of events right there. IZANEX doing a great job just floating around that turret, low health, baiting Council of Yorick into thinking he wasn't a threat, and he ultimately had to sacrifice his life, but his flag and drag into the Asian Brahms headbutt pulverize really set up quite a turnaround for Team Phoenix Fire, for their Jinx to come in and get several kills and kind of turn that fight that had gone so poorly for them on the first rotation of it.
Yeah, I mean that they do have a lot of lockup potential with that Jarvan, with that Alistair. You're right about that one. Tiamat now picked up for the Shen, so you're right, he did need a little bit more split push, so he is going for that Titanic Hydra. Rift Herald also procced down in the bottom lane, so that'll be another tower falling. Actually, the Dragon is coming up. That means someone, Shadow, who's looking to get vision around there, is going to get knocked away. The cast will come out though, and he will manage just to disengage the fight, keeping his health bar as well, so he is fairly clean for this Mountain Drake. One on either side currently, as Baron has been started over for Council of Urius in the top lane. Magnet Cross looking to stop that. Will they pull off this? They do have the tanks of Wifu. Blackout is in the front line, just trying to cause chaos. Someone Shadow also trying to get onto Magnet Cross. Can't quite do that as the ultimate comes out of Magnet Cross, picking up onto Lunar Rabbit. Now they look to go aggressive again. The ADC of Lazy Gentleman is now coming into the fight. Can the damage come down? Magnet Cross looking to go down, maybe from the Human Plague. Manages to disengage that. Now Lazy Gentleman trying to get on the auto attacks, but the knock-up from Dream will disengage the fight. Meanwhile, Rift Herald is doing spanking work in the bot lane. He's doing an absolutely spiffing job, taking down 2 towers all by himself, or not quite. The minions here might look to just consolidate this.
I mean, I really love the macro call right there by Council of Yorick. Send someone Shadow down, let him drop the Rift Herald in the bot lane, try to force Team Phoenix Fire to respond to that, while in the top side of the map, they use the power of the Cho'Gath Feast.
Oh, they are back on it again as they're looking to trade it for the Mountain Drake. Jarvan called off that Jinx coming up as well, but now it's 6,000 health, 5,000 health. This is going down very quickly. Alistair only there. Jarvan is not going to make it as the Baron does now fall. Jarvan, does he want to try and find something? Something Shadow does, as he's looking to go aggressive onto the Jarvan. Rooted up though by the Jinx. They collected the Baron. 4-3 as the Mountain Drake didn't even come out. Split decision there as Phoenix Fire were not on the ball.
Very, very gutsy calls by Council of Yorick here, and they're paying off. They're not being punished for it. They're catching Team Phoenix Fire in rotation, just being one step ahead, using the power of that Cho'Gath plus a jungler smite to go ahead and secure what could have been a 50-50 Baron, and they turned it in their favor, made sure they got it. Now they have all the pressure, looking to knock down some towers in the mid lane, since they got some help from old Rift Herald in the bot lane there. So
they have Baron, but they still haven't taken T1 mid yet. This is a very narrow mid lane currently for the both teams. Magnet Cross also on wave duty. Syndra is very good at doing this. Actually, the Mountain Drake will be started up now for Council of Yorick. Are they looking for a pick though? Asian Brom on the front lines. Xander's also now Lunar Rabbit a little bit caught out as he sprint away from the enemy team. They're looking to go forward now. Flashes burn aggressively trying to get onto Magnet Cross, and Lazy Gentleman, they're actually able to kite backwards now. The tanks are now off on their own, and the Fog will come down. Feast available onto Asian Brom, so he will pull. That gives them the pathway onto this Mountain Drake, so this will be their second pickup. 5k gold in the lead now, consolidating this Baron buff. They do need to push out the side lanes as that will push against them, but they also want to get down this mid lane, because T1 mid in 24 minutes with this Baron buff, they really want to take down some objectives.
Never on this Zaya has been performing really well. I know he has 4 deaths, which is the most on his team, but he's really been absorbing a lot of pressure, staying alive for a lot longer in fights, causing the other team to kind of overcommit to him, and it's allowed the rest of his team to really clean up the fights. So, he's putting out a lot of damage. Unfortunately, his KDA is not going to be pretty, but he's doing a lot of work for his team in these fights. Him and Lunar Rabbit both. That bot lane pairing has been really strong for them this game, as well as Dream Waifu on the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, Dream Waifu certainly got a lot of. Is it Waifu or is it Wifu? Like I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Waifu. I'm not super hip to the lingo, but I think I at least know that one.
Alright, well, your Dream Waifu certainly on the cards, maybe for player of the match right now, absorbing a lot of pressure in game 2 and deathless on game 3. Certainly making case for Blackout as well, playing very well as an explosive cast come forwards. That means the Charm will follow up the chain CC onto the Jinx. They'll fall now, Stand United onto Magic Cross, but that won't complete as Magnet Cross goes down as well. Agent Bob doesn't have any carries left, he'll fall. This is the mid lane tower, this is the push that they needed. This was them catching them out without Jarvan and Shen available to them.
I talked in pregame about the possible difficulty of Council of Yorick's to get to the back line, but right there, Team Phoenix Fire just left both of their carries exposed in the mid lane, waiting to pick up that CS, and someone's Shadow came through on the Gragas. Didn't need to separate the carries from their team. He just pulled them out from underneath the tower with his cask and said, "We're gonna take these couple towers you got here, thank you."
Yeah, that was a phenomenal engage. They took 3 towers off that push mid lane. That is immense for them. That will really propel them forward now.
We do have a 10.5k gold lead now, sitting here at 26 minutes. This game exploded in the matter of just a few moments. It was really even just a couple of minutes ago, and now
Summon Shadow maybe staying a bit too long, will get knocked up by the Jarvan and Asian Brom as well on this Alistair. Redemption actually coming down, trying to heal him up. That was from Luna Rabbit, but that won't matter when... That was a very heavy commit there, double ultimates by the carries of Magnet Cross and Lazy Gentleman trying to snipe it with the Super Mega probably.
Yeah, I mean at this point in the game, you're willing to expand a couple ultimates on one of the front liners, knowing that it's going to stall out the game for you because it causes Council of Yorick's to stall in their pushes, knowing they have to be a little bit more careful with one of their members off the map.
Yeah, this 3-item lever's doing a lot of damage, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And we're starting to see the top side get littered with boards for Council of Yorick's, kind of indicating to me that they could be looking to push into the top side of the map, and it does look like they are rotating up there to join Dream Waifu. We do see Zaya, Rakan, and Vladimir all heading up that way.
This is a bit of a slow rotation for Phoenix Fire here, as they definitely don't have the inside track against this. They have a whole minion wave here as well. They might look for the flank. This Cho'Gath is massive, and he is looking to engage. The Chompers won't actually affect it, as the ADC, Lazy Gentleman, has to run away. Stand United also used to try and feel for that, as Xanius might fall here against Your Dream Wifu, who goes godlike now as they're looking to re-engage on the top side. Magnet Cross also under fire, gets a really nice 2-man stun there just to delay it for Blackout once more. He flashes into the base. He's got aggressive, he's got his kill. Now they're looking to expand into this. Asian Brom doesn't have a carry to hide behind. Lazy Gentleman gonna get also potentially knocked up by Luna Rabbit, but flashes away from that as Agent Bomb falls in the process. Neither are going to pick up that kill. Lazy Gentleman cowering at the fountain now. Luna Rabbit not also going to fall. Neither goes a little bit aggressive with the ultimate, but that will be the game. Over to Council of Yorick's. Oh, coming out now, yeah, just finishing the game there. Wonderful stuff. For all 3 games, the series will end in a 2-1 victory over to Council of Yorick's, bringing in Your Dream Wifu as a sub. Certainly paid dividends, I think, and changing around their roster a little bit. Blackout, 2nd game in a row, solid on the Vladimir.
I would definitely give major props to Team Phoenix Fire. I don't... while Council of Yorick's may have been the victor, I definitely don't think that they are a loser, so to speak. They just didn't win this time around. I think if you set them up for another 3-game series, we could see a 2-1 for Council of Yorick's again, but I think it's entirely possible to see a 2-1 for Team Phoenix Fire. These are the top 2 teams in the league right now, and I definitely wouldn't rule out the possibility of seeing both of them in the finals again. Granted, there's a lot of season left to go, and I think there's some other teams that could push in and maybe challenge both of them for playoff spots, but hardly. I don't think you can hardly say that Team Phoenix Fire underperformed in this series at all. I think it was great games, all 3 games, close games that were won off the back of one deciding team fight that just kind of got snowballed. And so I got to give major props to both teams before we close this out and kind of just. I know we'll do some more analysis and stuff like that, but I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic series all around, and as you said, 2 high-end teams for the Prestige League here.
Now, looking at the games, I do think I was kind of surprised, mostly by lack of adaptation by Team Phoenix Fire, specifically with that Zaya pick. They showed I get after the first game, you didn't think that was the big deal, but if you didn't ban it after the second game, when it's doing a lot of damage, it's a comfort champion for Never, and he's allowed to stay safe on that champion while pumping out a lot of damage. I that's one area where I would critique Team Phoenix Fire is not banning out that Zaya in the 3rd game. Never had again another good performance, able to, even though he again maybe had the most deaths on his team, but he was also getting targeted. He was the focal point of his team, and he stayed alive for a long time in those fights because of Zaya's safety, and allowed Blackout and Dream Waifu to kind of slowly kill their team since they don't have as much damage as the AD carry. So
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to make a note that tomorrow we will be streaming the RML. That will be versus University of Houston versus DNA. That'll be at 8 o'clock EST. So please tune in for that. We also have Rift Ragers versus Tide Pods, and that'll be on Monday. That'll be our Championship Series match. But very much enjoyed casting with you tonight, Toe Knuckles. A fantastic game. Glad we got one to go to a 3rd match as well. Well contested between the 2 teams, and hopefully we'll see them again in the playoffs because they seem to be on top of their game right now.
Absolutely. Likewise, I enjoyed casting with you as well, Rookter. Your play-by-play is spot on. Not hardly missing any moments in the action, and makes my job a lot easier as your color commentator. So I major props again. Just one last time to Council of Yorick, there in first place, other undefeated team in the league. It's a hard thing in a best of 3. If you win the first game, lose the second game, it's really hard. All the pressure is on you to get that bounce back win. So hopefully we'll see that it'll be a growing experience for Team Phoenix Fire, and they can utilize that possibly if they get in a similar situation in the playoffs, being able to learn from this experience. So
yeah, exactly. So thank you very much for tuning in. That was week 3, Council of Yorick beating Team Phoenix Fire 2-1. Have a good evening.